Harold Neese was on the phone.
Chaska Park and Recreation Commission, Tuesday, May 13th, 2025. Call to order. Roll call, please, Mary.
Chair Jason Branch.
Present.
Elizabeth Wybing, Vice Chair.
Here.
Georgianne Keyport. Zach Zaresic. Danielle Haie.
Here.
Carly Whitner.
Here.
Michael Hauer. Terry Schwerm.
Here.
Kevin Hill. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary. Okay, next item, number 3, is adopt the agenda. Does anybody have any changes or anything to say about the agenda this evening? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
I motion to adopt tonight's agenda.
Haie
I second.
and Whitner. Agenda is adopted. That moves us to visitor presentations. Seeing none and nobody online. No, okay. That moves us to item number 5, approve previous meeting minutes. Is there any discussion on the previous meeting minutes from March 11th of 2025? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes.
I move to approve the previous minute, you know what I mean.
Whitner
Second.
and Schwerm. The previous meeting minutes have been approved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Approved. Okay, that moves us on to item number 6, receive city council and planning meeting minutes. This is for 6A city council meeting minutes from March 3rd, March 17th, and April 21st. Is there any discussion on the council or planning meeting minutes?
I thought it was interesting that backyard chickens are being revamped again. They're brought up again.
It's a hot topic.
It is a hot topic. It'll be interesting to see what the next work session brings and if anyone's sentiments change or not. And it's kind of a neat one to follow along.
Notary services are going to be free at the Chaska Library this summer, I guess, so that's pretty cool.
Excellent news,
Yep.
Zach.
Just wanted to show up late to share that, so.
Very much appreciated, Zach.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion on the city council or planning meeting minutes?
Did I see, and I'm so sorry, I did not write it down, but did I see discussion in one of them about e-bikes, or am I misremembering?
That was there.
It was there. I drove through Excelsior the other day, and they actually have up one of those road signs that flashes information, and it has all the e-bike rules. Like, you must be 15, you must be wearing a helmet, you can't go over this speed. I thought that was very interesting to see them proactively flash. I saw them giving tickets out a couple of weeks ago, too, to kids on e-bikes without helmets and such. So they're getting serious. I understand that community has a lot more e-bike use in a very confined space compared to what Chaska has. But yeah, it's still a interesting discussion, and it'll be interesting to see what the state decides to do.
What does a ticket like that look like for,
Yeah, I wonder.
I don't know. I mean, they look pretty serious. The kids looked pretty unhappy.
yeah.
So
I just wonder about speed limits and stuff like that. Somebody came cruising through my neighborhood last night, and I was like, I'm yelling at them like, slow down, there's kids. I'm like, but it's a biker, you know, and I'm like, hey.
yeah.
It wasn't an automobile, but anyway.
Yeah, I think that'll be an interesting one to follow. I think a lot of communities are going to be keeping an eye on how best to educate and enforce e-bikes out on the trails for everyone's safety.
Yeah.
Was it like one of those like digital wayfinding boards and it had like the rules of the road on it then?
I don't even know what you would call them, like the ones that we're about to have up on 41 saying this is closed starting this date, flashes it.
Oh, a message board.
A message board, thank you.
Where were they posted? just,
This was just a message board right on like Water Street, just right
Okay,
there as you
sure.
come into, just before the library.
yeah,
That's where it
That's a
was.
good idea.
interesting. Okay, anybody else? Okay, we will consider the council and planning meeting minutes received. That moves us on to item 7, reports, and 7A, Chaska Community Center staff presentation.
All right, Chair and Commission. So tonight, happy to have Jill Johnson, our Community Center Manager, along with her amazing team representing the Community Center division within our department. You know, earlier throughout the year, we've gotten to hear from our recreation team. We've heard from our curling and event center team, and tonight we have the Community Center. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jill and have the presentation. Thanks, Jill.
Thank you, Marshall. Good evening.
Good evening, thanks for being here, Jill.
Absolutely, thanks for having us. Let me put this in the present mode here for us, and we'll get the full screen activated. Oh, it was there, and let's see. Showing up on the screen, and not on the.
Yep.
Try that.
I think
Sorry about that.
it's not showing on yours.
No.
Who runs tech support for the community center? Are they here?
Marshall.
Yeah, it's Marshall, yeah.
Man of many
There we
hats.
go.
There we go.
And
They cut the fan out of that shot of the aquatics area. They didn't want the name of the fan on public view, maybe. It's like my favorite part about walking down there.
When in doubt, let's
It's
try
like,
this over
girls,
again.
look up there. You ever just look up at the sky? Dad, does that say what I think it says on the fan? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well,
No, it's on there, nothing.
Like, what kind of a citation would you give somebody for not wearing a helmet, like a kid like that? Like, what could you literally do?
Oh, I don't know what the state law is.
They're grounded.
And like,
I think they're just trying to find ways to like I would assume that if a kid is on a manual bicycle
Yeah.
versus one of the powered scooters, I think they're
So as I
targeting
hit
like the
present,
scooters and
Yeah.
stuff. Everybody's ripping around on them, and you have to be a certain age to ride them. And I don't know what the penalty is.
I'm
the
curious if
fine.
that falls on the parents. Like, it's, you know, like if
Usually does.
your person that you're the legal guardian for violates whatever the state statute says for that law, that, I wonder if the parents are liable for that then.
I would imagine so. If they're minor.
Cause like for us, if we do like
think we
citations for like
tested this.
issues in parks or whatever, the parents pay the fine.
you were at work when we tested.
Actually, I had someone in our neighborhood on the trail ask about regulations for e-bikes
Yeah,
because of the trails
yeah.
in that park.
I mean, some of the speeds, I see people, even just on the roadways, some of the speeds I see them get on some of those bikes, it's just, it's incredible.
I have one thing against e-bikes. Ever since
Even
they left
15
me
on
the
those
dust
trails
that
would
one
be a
time
lot,
on that
you know,
bike
just,
too. Catapult yourself off.
I mean, there's some places, you know, on the trails where there's straight shot, like an old railroad line where you can do that, but
Yeah, I mean, it comes back to the manufacturers making them able to go that fast.
yeah.
I don't know, would you put speed limits on like a pedestrian path?
I think you
There's
could.
been talks.
Like
about it.
posted, like,
Yeah, I think that's
A lot of
reasonable.
communities are talking
In
about
other
it.
states, they do that.
yeah?
If it's a shared with a walking trail,
Caught up.
10,
Yeah,
10
10
miles
or
an hour.
I think in Minneapolis, they have 10 max posted, like just spray, spray it onto the road, I want to say, or at least the last time I was there. I think it says 10.
Like around the lights and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The shared trails.
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
And those are separated too, so.
I would support it. I mean, we don't have anyone to enforce it, but.
Do you have to be of a certain age to have it then? Like to
I
get a,
think
do
they're,
you have to
I
get
can't remember
technically
the law.
licensed for it?
I can't remember the law passed, but they were looking into that. Like you have to be at least 15 or older to have it sold to you
Yeah.
right now. But I think they were debating about having it passed that you had to be 15 to actually operate it.
Treat it like a moped.
Yeah,
See it there.
that's what I would imagine because, yeah, actually, yeah.
It's not Renova's one.
They have to
Seems
wing
like
it.
a random age.
Oh,
I saw the next
okay.
page. We got it for a sec.
Like,
All right, there
you
you
don't have a license.
go.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for your patience.
Yeah.
Again, thank you for having us here this evening to share about all the information and all the good things that are happening at the Chaska Community Center. Again, my name is Jill Johnson, and it's my pleasure to serve as your Chaska Community Center manager. And most importantly, alongside of this amazing team of professional and talented Park and Rec leaders that are going to take you through the information this evening and all the different ways that we take good care of our patrons and our community as a whole as we work to focus on their overall well-being. As you can see, our Chaska Community Center, we have beautiful facilities, beautiful amenities in which to program and to provide all of these wonderful services. But what really truly makes our community center the place that everyone considers their gathering place are the people. It's not only the staff, it's not only the patrons, but it's all the different experiences that we get to share as neighbors at the Chaska Community Center. And it's because of this dedicated staff here with us tonight that we'll get to explore how many ways that we get to celebrate all the amazing activities and fun activities to take part in here at the CCC. Our community's gathering place, it's based on our Park and Rec's mission. We're here to serve the community. We're here to serve others. We're here to make sure that everyone can enjoy not only being a part of something they are passionate about, but a part of something that's bigger, their community, their neighborhoods, their overall Chaska experience. So we really dive in. Our team really embraces this mission and our vision to provide lifelong opportunities for lifelong memories. And it's so fun to hear about all the different memories that we get to share and hear from our patrons coming in, sharing how they came in and they were learning how to swim when they were just a tot, and now they're bringing their own kids in to learn how to swim. Or maybe some of those fitness instructors that come in and are giving back because they once were a part of the group fitness classes that we offered back then. So really a team that embraces our mission and our vision to provide opportunities for others. Very service-oriented staff, for sure. Along with being dedicated to our mission and vision, our team has really dove in and committed to our focus statement. Our focus of create, community, respect, energy, willingness to learn, teamwork, excellent, and of course having ideas. How we create that value, that vision and that mission and make it come to life. Our team has dedicated themselves to come each and every day with these values at their heart. Giving 1% better every day, making sure that they take care of one another as a teammate, making sure that they're present for all of the great ideas that are happening within the room or within the community that provides us feedback. Our staff gives us feedback, our community gives us feedback, and they take that to heart and work to implement so many different programs and opportunities to reflect all of us as one. So I really appreciate all their dedicated efforts to our focus on a daily basis. Our Chaska team, and again, made up of incredible professionals. Our team, here are our full-time staff supervisors and coordinators. As you can see, their responsibilities are immense. But all of the experience that they bring, from just a few years to more than 28 years of experience to our team, have really provided exceptional positive experiences for all involved, for not only their team members, but then again for our patrons. They're really dedicated to offering different opportunities, creating ideas, and making sure that we take good care of our facilities. There, we've got some feedback.
Jill, you really hit like a, oh geez, I'm getting it too. Oh, never mind.
Anything? Oh.
Something has happened with the mics.
Somebody's got the live stream on. It's the sound of the.
That's good. City Hall, ask that in mute.
Try that.
Test, 1, 2, there we go. All right. But as you can see, our dedicated staff that are also here with us this evening that you'll get to hear from, I think one of the best parts of getting to work with our team is their passion. It comes out in everything that they do. I've only been with them for a year, but while being able to work with them and serve with them and learn from them, their passion has shined through in everything that they're bringing forward and trying to do. So it's just really been a joy and a remarkable experience to be a part of a team that cares for one another and cares for serving others in the way that they do. Jumping into our extended team, as you can see, we have over 200 staff that help make all of this happen at the CCC. These are staff members that have been there from anywhere from just starting out to over 30 years of dedicated service to our community. Their knowledge, their experiences, all of the different personality styles that they bring into all of our fun experiences at the CCC. These individuals have committed time and efforts, but most of all, they're all doing their best to provide that experience that we so much need, that we want to make sure that each and every one of our patrons leave with this experience of, I want to go back there. And so many of the testimonials you'll see tonight reflect just that. All of these hard-working individuals, we hear that, and that's such a blessing to be able to hear all of the great things that they're experiencing while they're at the facilities, but then also being able to say, thank you, and thank you to our staff. This is why this is all happening here at the CCC. Our employees shine. Because of their commitment, you can see that just this year, one of our part-time staff members was named City Employee of the Year. Something, again, to celebrate and give a yahoo to, because indeed Shell has put in 12 years of service at the front desk. Everyone knows her when she walks in the door in the 4:30, 5 o'clock hour.
She knows everybody's name too.
She knows everybody's name. And doesn't that just make a huge difference in making that home for so many that walk through those doors? The experience that we all enjoy providing. Again, a half dozen more of our staff were nominated for this recognition. Again, it just shows the commitment level of our team members. Kevin Lindgren, highlight him, been there for 20 years in our facilities department. It's just amazing retention, and it goes to show again, I believe they enjoy their job, and I believe they take a lot of pride in how we keep our facilities safe and clean, and hopefully a fun experience for everyone. So hats off to our entire team and those that we get to celebrate here with these types of honors. Again, we get to serve. How wonderful is that to share, that we get to provide a service to others, that we get to team up to make somebody's day, to hopefully make somebody's day happier or more enjoyable. Maybe they reach a PR. Maybe they come in for the first time and swam a lap. Whatever it was, this entire group of population that we get to serve, all ages, all ability, but they come in and we connect them together. And with this, we get to serve, but it comes with a great responsibility that our team really takes to heart. And that's the fun part about seeing that all come to life. Again, filling the spaces with people and people that are enjoying what they're passionate about. We've really remolded and renewed our focus on customer service. And again, not something that's new, but that's something that's inbred in each of our areas that we get to offer. Every way and shape and form that we can provide customer service, we're doing. And our motto, let's do it with a smile. Let's find a way to say yes and really make an incredible experience for our members and patrons and for our team coming in each day, choosing to be happy. At this time, I'd like to dive into the different areas in which our community center services our community. And I'll bring up at this time Zach Bowman. Zach is Come on up. Zach is our facilities and operations coordinator. But in this interim, we've had our guest services supervisor, that position opening for a while. So in his role, Zach has taken on a great responsibility of helping with memberships, taking good care of our guest services team as well. So thanks to Zach, we continue to offer great information and opportunities for our memberships. Again, just highlighting some of those CCC membership amenities. We have a variety of ways that people with a membership can experience our CCC. Obviously, between drop-in daycare, indoor playroom, they have the racquetball courts, we have open swim and skate, and open pickleball is definitely popular, and also a priority enrollment in some select programs for our recreation team as we combine efforts. Our membership options, now Zach will be able to share a little bit more.
Sure. Hey, everybody. I'm Zach Bowman. I'm the Fitness and Operations Coordinator, so this kind of ties in, like she said, into my operations portion of my job here. And we kind of have a few different options in terms of memberships for our community members. So the ones that you see here on screen are the options that are provided to a majority of the individuals coming into our facility. So we have a few different options in these. One is our monthly membership options. 2 is our annual memberships, and 3 are the prepaid membership options. With our monthly and annual, these ones run for a lot of different types of packages. We have our adult, just single adult person, dual, our family. Then we have single youth, single senior, single military, which we just added in military this last year as well. Dual senior and military, and the military family. And there are a lot of different benefits for the differing membership options for the people who are coming into our facilities. Number one, for our monthly membership options, there's no real long-term commitment that you have to have for these. You come in, you have it on automatic renewal every single month, and then at the, on the last day of the month, you get charged for the next month coming up. If you don't want to pay for the next month coming up, just cancel it. Pretty easy for people to come in and select that kind of option. It's kind of one of the more prevalent ones that we tend to see at our front desk that people are wanting to look for. Also with one of these, you'll be able to put your membership on hold for either 2 or 3 months, which you are going to see a lot of around this time of year because everybody is outside doing all the activities while they can before we go back into the cold months. And then also, like I said, just the automatic billing on these is really nice for most people. For our annual membership options, these are a lot more of our lowest cost per month options. You're paying a lot of this all up front at the beginning, and you get that discounted rate for being someone who is providing us, that opportunity for you to come in every single time for the whole year. Year-round access. For these people also, you receive 6 guest passes so that they can bring in other individuals into our facility for a day for completely free. Maybe those individuals will then want to come and sign up for a membership at our facility. And then also on these, there's no administrative fee, which you get on our normal monthly options because we do have a little bit more time that we have to put in for those monthly options to be able to offer all those benefits. And then our last option is our prepaid memberships. So these can range from our 1-day pass. So if somebody just wants to come in, use the swimming pool for the day, go to the fitness center, they can just come in and buy a day pass with us. Then we have other options, which are our 30, our 60, and our 90-day passes. So if somebody's coming in a little bit more of a short-term time frame, and this might work out, let's say our college students that are coming back for the summer, they don't want to, have a full year membership because they're going back to college again. So a 90-day pass is really great for those individuals who are coming in. So it's just really great for those short-term options. Oh, one thing I did forget, our employee memberships through the city. Everybody here is eligible for an employee membership at our facility. If it is a single membership, it is completely paid for. But if you are looking for a dual or a family option, that would be 50% off for any City of Chaska employees. All right, and then other options that we do have our specialty and assisted options as well. So these are kind of a little bit more niche scenarios. Number one, we have our scholarship memberships, which are for people who are eligible within the community, and this allows for 50% coverage of a membership option on either a single or a family 90-day membership. To be eligible for these, you do have to meet one of the two requirements. One is our county financial assistance, such as SNAP, our medical assistance, and MFIP, or be on Social Security disability. And number two option is our financial hardships due to any unexpected circumstances, such as medical expenses or loss of a job, or taking care of somebody with special needs. So this is just a really great opportunity for us to give back to those individuals who are going through a hard time. And this is all funded through our Nick Mason fund as well. So it's just kind of great to be able to give back. Also, for kind of our older population, we have insurance-based membership options. So for anybody who is Medicare eligible, we have these insurance plans such as Silver Sneakers, Silver and Fit, Renew Active, or One Pass. And if they qualify through those Medicare eligible plans, they can come to our facility completely free as long as they stay an eligible member through that insurance plan. And then we get a little bit of a kickback for the time that they come and spend with us. So that kind of works out for both of us. And then lastly, we have insurance reimbursement options. So let's just say I'm not 65 years old, but I still want to have a little bit of assistance. If you have a job and you work for a company that can really help with, that is also partnered with the NICA program, you can come into our facility, and as long as you meet a specific number of visits for the month, and we report that over to those companies, they then get a usual stipend back, about $20 to $30 for those individuals. So as long as they meet that company required standard of how many visits they need to come to, they do get a little bit of a kickback for that. So it just kind of helps out with the membership option for a lot of these individuals. And the great thing about NICA programming with all these companies, it is always growing every single year. So we are continuously seeing more and more companies being added on into this program. And so we are continually seeing more and more people sign up for these as well. All right, you want me to talk about this one? Go for it. All right. So in 2024, we had some really good numbers for our memberships. Pretty much almost all of our membership options have been at an increase over the entire year. So you can kind of see in the bottom left-hand side there, our total household membership options went from 2270 up to 2419, about a 6.56% increase. We also had the revenue part going up about 4.3%. And then for our annual membership options, those have gone up over the year, so about 2.6% increase. Our monthly options have gone up about 8.08%, and then our prepaid actually went up quite a bit. It's one of our newer options for those individuals, and you can see that's been up about 27.6% over the last year. And this is just for the year of 2024. And so we are continuously seeing that this is the trend that we're going to see throughout the years, that we're going to be getting more and more members coming into our facility.
So that's total number of memberships, or that's total number of members?
Total number of membership units, and that does not include any of the specialty packages. So about 2,400 include all of the monthly and annual membership unit packages. So it doesn't include, for example, if you have a family membership and have 5 members, it's only counted as 1 unit.
So if you had to ballpark, like how many people actually are active members at the community center right now, what does that number look like?
Well, our current membership units are around 3,700, including that specialty unit, so we're probably around 6,500 to 7,000.
Cool.
Yes, good numbers, for sure.
And most of the people are Chaska residents, or some of those like Carver residents or
It's
Chan
mostly,
residents?
I'd say mostly Chaska Carver residents. We do get the individuals outside of that as well, but I'd say a majority of them are kind of catering more towards the people in the surrounding areas mostly.
That's awesome.
Excellent. And also taking advantage of wanted to make sure that we highlighted Zach, and something I appreciate most about Zach is how he's always been willing to go above and beyond. A couple years here with our team, but indeed, that's one trait that I really admire about Zach, so thank you. Along with that, the employee membership benefit that he highlighted, we actually have 171 employees taking advantage of that employee benefit, whether as an individual or a family package. So that's a great wellness opportunity for our staff. I wanted to just highlight a couple of promotions and special events that took place here kind of throughout 2024 and into 2025. We talked about the 90-day prepaid sale. We offered that last summer, so the 124 90-day prepaid memberships. Then we offered a free trial week in November with a Black Friday sale kind of culminating that event, and added quite a bit of membership burst there for the month of December, in 182 monthly and 51 annual memberships added during that free trial week, boosting into the Black Friday sale. And all of our social media posts, when we put out, hey, come try out the CCC for free, I saw about 1,400 clicks on that. And again, a financial impact just in that time frame alone of over $40,000. In January, together with Southwest Chamber, we offered the Health and Wellness Expo, where we offered free swim assessments, free demos on some fitness classes, along with then the Chamber offering the vendors on site, and so bringing our community together to offer that event. And then also in January, we celebrated our members by offering incentives. So they went around with a little bingo card and tried to accomplish some unique goals, including, try this out, or try this fitness class out, or speak with a maintenance staff member, or whatever it may be, including bringing in a food donation. And indeed, the nice part about that, our members, because of their generosity, we were able to capture 513 pounds of food that we delivered to Bountiful Baskets. So a great representation of how giving and our members are, for sure. At this time, I'd like to bring up Joe Yeager for our aquatics programming.
Good evening, everybody. Like Jill said, my name is Joe Yeager. I'm the aquatics supervisor at the community center, and also at the beach just down the street. That looks like it's already open, but we're not staffing yet, so. When I drove by, I kind of went like that for a second.
I saw people going over there the other day. And I'm
Yeah.
like, really?
Off the bridge.
So a couple highlights for the aquatic during 2024 was, over the past year, by teaming up with Aaron Link, we were able to successfully schedule once a month adaptive open swim during the school year. And this was designated to patrons adaptive swim time that would come to our adaptive swim time that would provide a welcoming, sensory, quiet area, kind of sensory friendly. So we would close the entire pool for this demographic, and they would come and enjoy the pool with moderate to low noise. And by offering this program during this last year, we saw about 90 visits within that program alone. So we're looking forward to 2025 and having that word get out there, and excited about that program. Staffing and training. So in the aquatics program here, there's 3 life support aspects of the pool. Number 1 is the lifeguards. Number 2 are all those great individuals that want to teach everybody else's kids to swim. And then the other one is the beach lifeguards. With that, we also established a couple years ago, we would hire somebody pre-certified and then go on the basis of a certification outlying aspect, and that helped us quite a bit, because in aquatics, it's the only one you have to go get certified in high school to be eligible to work. So we started with that. Our numbers are looking pretty good. For me, I could always have more, so. And then, like Jill said previously, in the celebration of the employee breakfast, Aquatics was fortunate enough to have 3 nominees: Emma Ross, Joey Peterson, and then just quick to point out, you could see the first 2 names, how recent they were. They made a great impact right away, but Eric Anderson, a daytime lifeguard, who has started since 2009, so he has been employed at the CCC for 16 years. So that was a pretty big honor for him. So at the community center, we try to hit all ages, all demographics, everybody we want to have fun in a safe environment. So we offer open swim, tot time, lap swim, and then we kind of float that around the schedule to try to hit all the different areas of that. The aquatics kind of run on the school year calendar, unfortunately. That has a lot to do with it. So we try to give every grouping a time or place to do that with. And then, of course, at the facility, we highlight our lap pool, the hot tub or hot spa, the steam room, the sauna, and then new, not like we didn't sneak one past you guys, the leisure pool is now called the kiddie pool. And just a little background, we accommodate our school district, so Chaska Chan High School. When they do not have school, we open up a modified open swim during the day. Well, we've noticed that more and more non-district days are coming over to our pool to utilize that. And when we called it leisure, kids from all ages would come with their grandparents, whoever it was, and they would get there and wait, we'll hold on. So we wanted to help them out to understand kind of more what that pool is designated for and help out with that communication with our front desk staff as being that front line person to explain it more, to say it's a kiddie pool, kind of lays it out there what age or grouping would have fun there. And then just down the street, like I said, at Fireman's Park, we have Clayhole Beach. That opens up, obviously it's open. We don't actually have the possibility of closing it, but staffing-wise, that will start the day of graduation. So here, June 6th, will be the first day of staffing. We will still be running a modified beach patrol at the end there. We've discussed that with Marshall. We're weaning off of that a little bit. But along with the beach, we also have concessions with our great ice cream that I hope you guys all made time for. But we also have paddle boat rentals there throughout the day. So another aspect, like I said in the previous two slides, one of the main highlights of the pool is swim lessons. And each year we go through 4 sessions of swim lessons. We break it down into winter, spring, summer, and fall. And these classes vary in class sizes based on time of year. So I have to pre-plan holidays. We like to keep all classes 8 weeks for our instructors. But if we have something goofy, I may have to cut that down a little bit. So that's based on the calendar year and then obviously instructor availability. The main thing that with the swim lessons is providing a positive experience for both the swimmer, the parents, and the instructors are top priority. So when putting together class sizes or what we offer, I present to the public what I can promise I will run. Everything above that is the wonderful staff and part-time staff coming together and helping, saying they're opening up their availability. So it's very, very common that a class may be filled, meaning the enrollment number has been filled, and then I have a waiting list of double. Very, very common that either I can accommodate all of them or add more of them. And as you can see from this chart here, just taking winter, for example, when I sent out the brochure, I offered 170 spots. So 170 kids could use that swimming lessons. By the time that started, we were able to offer 213 kids actually in the lessons. And then spring, obviously, the same thing happened. And winter, a little background with that. Summer is the summer season of school. So we run daytime lessons, which offers 8 classes within 2 weeks. So we bump 5 sessions with that. So what we tend to see is parents have vacations, kids pass through. So the train of going through that kind of whittles out here and there. So that number, we offer 359. That is a very large amount of swimmers, but we hit just shy of 300. So with this, I credit a lot to my employees. It's a wonderful thing to have these numbers here, and hopefully this next school year, the next group of staff coming through the city will exceed these numbers. And then a little bit of impact testimonial. I'll leave it up here for a second. But one that stood out to me the most was, besides the excellent fitness opportunities, my family was able to attend many family-oriented activities for our children, such as swim lessons, ice skating, and the staff is always welcoming and programs are fantastic value. So that kind of goes back to what Jill stated at the beginning. Our building accommodates the whole spectrum of the family and just not niches or age groups or anything like that. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Joe, do you got time for a couple quick questions?
Absolutely. I'm going to assume it goes back to this one.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
You've got a fantastic staff there in aquatics at the community center. I have 3 daughters, and they've all been through swim lessons there. We've had a great time there. I have 2 questions, though.
Yeah.
One is, what is the temperature difference between the kiddie pool and the other pool?
Okay, so we say it's a range of, the kiddie pool is about 84 to 86, and around 82 for the lap, and if Dowden's making a face, that means I'm wrong back there, so.
I actually keep it slightly higher.
So we keep it a range just based on, right now, if you were to be at the pool in this environment, how hot it is outside and the greenhouse effect, it gets pretty sticky in there, so they might be skewing here and there.
Yeah, okay, no, I was always curious about that.
Kiddie pool, just a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
So,
It's noticeably warmer.
yep.
And then also, no goggles in the deep end. Is that because of not having to fish them out of the deep end?
No, that is for safety concerns. So if a swimmer is reliant and can only swim in over their head water with goggles, for any circumstance that the goggles may come off or flip on their face, they may not have the skills or capability to get them out of that situation safely. So we like to say jump in there without goggles, because then we don't have to worry about the unexpected.
Yeah,
So-
no, that's cool. I just, every time I've been going to there for over 10 years now, that's like, every time I keep a counter going, like how many times people get the whistle blown, I'm like, I can't have goggles in the deep end. you know?
Yeah. No, we like to take away that I can only swim with the goggles, because if they come off, then we like to be preventative, not
Yeah,
reactive.
no,
So
that's great. No, I appreciate it. I had no idea. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Any other questions or anything? Thank you again.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. One thing I wanted to share in regards to Joe, I respect Joe and how he has such a great relationship and continues to develop relationships with his aquatic staff, and how diligently he works, as you saw on that swim lesson slide, to really make sure that we maximize our opportunities with our staffing and with our patrons. So thank you, Joe. Next, I'd like to introduce Missy Goff, and also our fitness instructor, and also bring back up Zach Mulbin.
All right, I'm first again. All right. So let's talk about fitness, kind of the main portion of my position here. So I'm going to just go through a little bit of the fitness facility as a whole and kind of what you can expect if you've never actually been to the community center before. So for us, we have 2 main fitness areas within our facility. We have our smaller functional fitness area, as well as our overarching fitness center. We don't really have like a specific name for it. In our functional fitness area, we have 2 functional trainers, which are cable machines in our corners, but the rest of the equipment that we have in this part of our facility is mostly free weights. And kind of why we call it the functional fitness area is because it's a little bit more spread out as compared to our fitness center. So people like to do a little bit more movement-based activities and functional movements. That's why we call it as such. So you can usually see our free weights like dumbbells, our TRX bands, other bands. We have the battle ropes in there if you've ever seen someone do those. Med balls, all those types of activities are usually done on the functional fitness side of our facility. On the other side, we have the fitness center. This is where a majority of our equipment is going to be housed. So we have about 45 pieces of cardio equipment in this side of our facility. These include 2 different types of bicycles. So we have our recumbent bikes, those laid back ones, as well as our upright bikes. We have 3 different types of, ellipticals, 3 different types of ellipticals within the facility. And we also have treadmills, stair climbers, rowers, and an 1-arm cycle ergometer. So a lot of different options for people to come and try out. You'll see a lot of the time during our winter months that almost all the equipment is completely full. Nobody wants to go outside in the snow. So we have a lot of those pieces of equipment to kind of accommodate that need we see in the winter months. We also have, as of last year, we kind of did a week-long shutdown of our facility, and in that time frame, we were able to buy all new strength equipment and all new flooring on this side of our facility as well. So you would have seen, if you've ever been there in the past, we had carpet under all of our cardio equipment and some kind of old blue under most of the strength equipment. It was getting a little old. So thankfully, we were able to replace all this with shock absorption flooring that you'll see in a lot of fitness facilities these days. It also brightens up the area because it's nice and bright, and it also cuts down on all that sound that you hear from people dropping weights even though they're not supposed to. Mm-hmm. So with this, we also got brand new strength equipment in this part of our facility as well. So all of the strength equipment in the back half of this is brand new as of last year. Kind of what we had in terms of mentality for the strength equipment is we wanted to find things that were dual functionality so that we could provide more pieces of equipment in our facility. So kind of combining two pieces into one, and then we can add one more thing in. A lot of things we used to hear was, oh, we only have one squat rack, I wish we had more. Now we got 4, you can't complain about it anymore. So, just kind of finding new and innovative ways for us to provide more fitness equipment in there has always been something that Missy and I have worked very deeply on in this facility. Lastly, in this part, we also offer free equipment orientations for individuals who are coming into our facility and they aren't sure how to use this new equipment. We had a big turnout for people when we got all the new strength equipment that wanted to come in and figure out how to use all the new stuff. So just to make sure that everybody's using the equipment safely in the manner it is supposed to be used, answer any questions that they may have, maybe like some training tips, just basic ones. And if they want to go a little bit above and beyond for that, we kind of refer them over to our personal trainers, which I'll talk about here in a second. In other terms of our fitness facility, we also have 2 fitness studios to where we offer our group fitness classes. Missy will talk a little bit more about the classes themselves here in a second, but I'll talk about the studios. So we have Studio A, which we changed over the naming on. This is our larger studio that houses most of our classes. In this part of our facility, we have our cycle bikes in there. We have a large storage area in the back that people can come and grab equipment out of for the classes. So any of our strength training classes where you need a lot of pieces of equipment tend to be held in this part of our facility. We also have our Studio B, which is our smaller studio, which serves as the backup when we have simultaneous classes happening at the same time. So this one, it doesn't have as much equipment in it, but those types of classes might not need them, like yoga or something, might not need as much equipment for them. This also serves as a place for dance practices. If the Chaska Dance Center uses this for their dance practices sometimes. We use it for our Taekwondo classes that we offer through our contractual obligations through Chad Fig there. And we also have some adaptive programming that goes on in there as well to make sure it's a little bit more sensory friendly for those individuals as well. And then lastly, last thing I want to talk about today is our personal trainers and nutrition coaches. We have 5 great personal trainers on staff that do one-on-one training as well as small group training for individuals who have very similar goals in mind. We don't want to have people who one's training for a marathon and one's doing powerlifting competition trying to train them at the same time. With these individuals, we have them in the facility on a constant basis. A lot of them like to wear their personal training shirts to kind of promote themselves. And we also, as of this last year, started adding in nutrition coaching into this with Shai, who you can kind of see in the bottom right-hand corner training one of our clients. She's one of our personal trainers and nutrition coaches. So if you were looking for a little bit more background to the nutrition side of health and wellness as a whole, she can sit down and help you out with that as well. And then lastly, one cool thing that we also started offering as well is adaptive personal training sessions. So for those individuals with disabilities that might need a little bit more hands-on attention and training, we are able to offer that now through Tanya, who does pretty much all of our adaptive and inclusive things that we have going on in our facility. So that's kind of one of the big things that we started doing this last year, and we've seen a lot of great feedback from that as well. All right, any questions on my part?
What is the age requirement for the fitness center and or the functional fitness?
Yeah, so that would be 12 with a responsible adult, and if they are by themselves, it would be 15 years old. Yeah. We want to make sure they know how to use the equipment. Any other questions for me? All right, well, I will introduce my supervisor, Missy Goff, and she will help you out with the rest of it.
I wouldn't have had Zach talk so much if I knew he was going to do a lot of the membership stuff, so thank you, Zach. I am Missy Goff, and I am the fitness supervisor at the Chaska Community Center. I oversee the personal trainers, group fitness instructors, the fitness areas, and then work with Zach as well. All right. I get to talk about group fitness classes. So we offer drop-in group fitness classes that is included in our memberships. We roughly average about 35 classes a week, ranging from cycle to bar to Pilates. You name it, we try to stay on top of the trend. Again, if you hear something new and different, bring it to my attention, and I'm more than happy to look into some different offerings as well. We also offer specialty group fitness classes, so a little bit different. Those are really specified into a specific, maybe group of people, so maybe pregnant women, or think children, or so some of the classes include, or larger body athletes. This is a really popular one that we have started with our instructor, Sin. She has a lot of experience working with people of all ages and abilities, but she really loves to work with heavier set abilities. So she has created a class specially for people who may not feel comfortable in a regular group fitness class setting. So she has provided them with a range of exercises they can do standing, maybe seated. So really hitting that population that might not feel comfortable coming into a regular class. Other popular specialty classes that we offer include Aquafit, as well as Intro to Strength Training. That's a very popular one come January 1st, when everybody wants to try to learn how to do something new or work on their health and wellness. Starting as of last week, we started some free outdoor fitness classes, ranging from Zumba to family yoga, to also flow yoga. The majority of those are held at Fireman's Park on the stage. They're free to our community, open to all ages and abilities. Just a good way for us to showcase what we offer. A lot of the times from those classes, we have gained memberships. Wow, I really like this. This was a really fun class. Where can I see more of this? Join us at the community center. So we have definitely picked up memberships from offering those classes in the park. With group fitness, we have a diverse team of about 25 experienced and certified instructors that teach those specialty and group fitness classes. Moving on, we offer seasonal programming. Throughout the year, different events and challenges and programs to keep people motivated, to keep them challenged, keep them interested in health and wellness. A few challenges that I'd like to just point out. We're currently doing a Run 100. It started May 1st and goes through May 31st. Run 100 miles in May. Put that in perspective, that's a 5K a day. People do this.
How many?
We have 66 signed up. And we're gonna have 66 that are gonna finish it,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Anybody in this room? Wow. That's awesome.
So other fun things, Walktober, similar concept except for walking. That is 62 miles in 31 days. Just fun ways to get people to engage in activity, make it fun, have some prizes in there. Everyone likes a good prize here or there. Other popular programs that we've ran, New Year, New You, that was started actually during COVID. It was just a way for us to still be able to communicate with people who didn't want to lose that connection. And just we ended up turning it into a 6-week program to really help people hone in on those healthy habits of exercise, nutrition, mindfulness. So that has been a really popular program, ran virtually. So it's a private Facebook group, and we do all of our challenges there, do some live classes for them as well. Other fitness events that we offer, does anybody know what a WOD is? W-O-D.
Workout of the day.
Thank you, yes. So
course you know
we
that.
do, with this new hire, I shouldn't say new, she's been here about 2 years. She comes from a background of a CrossFit gym, and that's what they call workouts, is the WODs. So we've really incorporated that into our programming as well. We have one coming up next Saturday. I'm putting a plug out for the Memorial WOD. It is a chance to just offer our condolence to those who have put up that sacrifice for our lives, and we will do a challenging workout together at Veterans Park. Includes running or walking, as well as air squats, pull-ups. If you can't do pull-ups, you can do bent over rows. And what am I missing? Push-ups, thank you, push-ups. Such a fun atmosphere. We pull in different military sources as well. Again, that's next Saturday, 10 a.m. at Veterans Park. We would love to see you there. Or just come enjoy the atmosphere. The atmosphere is amazing. Moving on to some other things that we offer or that we have a private Facebook page called the Chaska Community Center Fitness and Wellness. That was actually started during COVID. Like I said, we wanted a way to continue to connect with our people even though we were having to stay home. And we started online fitness classes. So us instructors, the community center instructors, kind of just bit the bullet and we're like, all right, we're gonna go live, we're gonna do this thing, which no one had an idea on what they were doing or, sound quality, music quality, all of the things. So that's kind of how that page started. And now we are over 650 members on our page, where we offer a lot more than just some virtual classes on there as well. Just a way to stay connected. We do educational and wellness classes. For instance, there's a picture of Shai, our personal trainer and nutrition coach. She was leading a Eat This, Not That presentation. I just led one a couple weeks ago, which was the secrets of living a happy life. I might do that one again. Because we could have a better world if we were all happy. And then we do work with Joan and Nikki in the lodge to offer specific AOA programs, classes, events as well. So specifically for 55 plus, because they're always, looking for, maybe their goals are a little bit different than what the general population goals might be. Finally, our goals, Zach and our goals, is to regularly assess and update our fitness equipment. I mean, that's an ongoing thing we do daily. Have our preventative maintenance coming in on Friday to do 8 hours of just maintenance on our equipment, so that's top priority for us. We continue to evaluate quality and consistency of fitness programs and services, all while increasing retention of customers. So keeping our customers, growing that, as well as just checking, what worked well about that program? What can we do different next time with that program? What are we missing? What part of health or wellness are we missing in our community? Or do we see that we need to have more of? We want to continue to expand offerings as a whole and stay up to date with fitness trends. A good example here, in the last year, we have added, like Zach had mentioned, the adaptive personal training. We've added a family yoga class. So that was kind of a big one. We heard parents are wanting to do these activities with their kids. Well, what can we do to bring the two together? So family yoga was started. We have also started sports-specific training. So we've worked with a couple of different sports teams within Chaska. Small group setting where we led them through a 6 to 8 week training session to help them condition for their sports as well. And then last but not least, we strive in providing top quality fitness classes and amenities, all while delivering exceptional customer service. I cannot speak highly enough about that last one. That is true to my heart, just offering the best possible customer service that we can. I always think, how would I want to be treated if I came into a place or into a group fitness class, and just really portraying that out to our customers. All right, our impact. A few of many awesome things that we have heard from our community, from our patrons, from our members. I think my favorite is going to be the last testimony, which is from Nate Cabot. So Nate, we held a Fire and Ice Family Fun Run last year. And he had 2 of his lovely girls join in on the Family Fun Run. And I was blown away by the email that he had sent me the next day on how he felt, how his girls felt from that event. And that to me that's what we do here, is we want to create those lifelong fun activities and memories for families. Questions, concerns? You can bring me the tough questions.
I don't have any
Okay,
tough
maybe
questions. No. I remember we did the open house. We worked together at one of the open houses for the community center master plan. I had a great time. It was fun just being around you. You've got such great energy. You're a great ambassador for the community and for the community center.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you have enough room, like enough studio class rooms? I don't know how to ask that, but I think you know what I mean.
With the increase in memberships, it's hard. It's becoming very challenging. Today, I mean, again, we have to set limits on our fitness classes to keep a safe environment. So for instance, we have a limit of 42 in our bigger studio, Studio A. And unfortunately today, I saw a woman walk out because we were at 42. Breaks my heart, but we're offering 2 classes at one time. I'm not sure what else we can offer. So again, we're offering 2 classes at that very same time, and we've already ran out of space. So it's happening. It's a great, great problem to have.
Yeah, I feel like the group fitness, at least for me, the group fitness classes are kind of what keeps you coming back. You know, if you stick with it and go on a weekly basis, you get to know the other people in the class who consistently come, and you feel bad if you miss, which I'm sure helps with membership and keeping people come back.
Absolutely. It's accountability piece and creating that relationship with our patrons that, yeah, when we don't see you, we may reach out to you in a nice way. In a nice way.
Right.
But like you mean something to us. It's not, you're just not a number or a face.
Yeah, so I wish you guys had more space to
Thank
have
you.
more classes.
Marshall?
We're working on that. We have a really nice plan.
I know.
What is where do we sit with the current community center master plan with fitness center space?
I knew that would come up tonight.
Yeah.
We're just in a holding pattern, you know, and for funding.
Yeah.
The option, a local sales tax option is still kind of in a moratorium state through the legislature. So we're waiting on that. And then, you know, the other one that could potentially provide some revenue towards this would be whether or not a large data center moves forward here in Chaska, you know, and just the basically the hosting fee through our electric department for a facility that size would generate some new revenue for the city that I think our administrator has identified would, you know, allocate some of that revenue towards the community center master plan. So,
Have you seen the latest sort of, you know, renderings of what the new, like the latest and greatest community center master plan looks like?
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. That would suit your needs?
I could use another building.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
I have a friend that is taking the larger body athletes class, and I have not tried a class at the community center because I have intense feelings about personal space. But her description and how it's changed her life has made me want to. So it's been transformative for this person. It's been really, really cool to see. And I remember when it first was introduced and this person was talking about it, and they were like, I think I could jump back into working out. This could be the thing that gets me there, and it has. It's been really cool
That's
to see.
awesome to hear. Thank you so much for sharing that. We can work on that personal space thing too.
No. Respectfully.
I do have one question about youngers, like teenagers. I'm hearing a lot, and I know you said they're sports specific and you're kind of getting into that. Well, I'm hearing a lot of like, I mean, you guys probably know more about this stuff than I do, but like ETS and these specialized training for, you know, a lot of younger athletes. Has there been any thought of trying to, I don't want to say compete with that or kind of draw off that?
I mean, in our own way, we still want to keep it very community-based, and I think the feel that you get coming into the community center and taking one of our sports-specific classes or doing a personal training session, the feel is just so different than elsewhere, is what the feedback I'm getting. Now, could we do it? Absolutely. I think we would just need to look at potentially looking at employees that have those certifications that we would need to really expertise
Okay,
those areas.
sure.
What is ETS?
Something.
I just learned WAD a little while
Elite
ago.
training.
Elite training.
Elite training
Yeah,
systems?
Yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, I know a lot of softball players, so.
Okay.
And baseball, I mean, multi-sports, but it's kind of an on-the-side deal, additional going.
I think a little bit of it is a space factor again
Yeah.
too, right?
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
To bring in an entire team,
Yeah.
Sure.
and they're doing squats and, and benching and using some of that traditional weight equipment.
Okay.
It would just overtake our entire fitness center, which would disrupt our members.
Okay.
Now I get
But
what
as
you
far
mean.
as, could you round, and again, I'm not here to tell any of you how to do your job, because I love how you do your jobs. You're all very awesome. But could, you know what I mean, is there any way that, it just seems like a huge market.
And I think that's maybe, so with it being, so like, again, the sport-specific personal training that we have offered, we worked with a soccer team as well as a swim team. Both of those were super successful, and we had such great feedback. I think it's a matter of getting that word out there, that you don't have to go elsewhere, you can still get that here. So maybe that is one of Zach and I's challenges in this upcoming year, is just to really get that information out, that we can do it on a smaller field. Like typically, we would bring them into our studio space, which would be a smaller space, so they're using more functional equipment, versus, like Marshall said, we would interrupt our members if we brought them out into the fitness areas.
Yeah, okay.
That's kind of an interesting concept, though, an idea. Like, in my hometown, they had the Acceleration Institute, where they would literally have professional athletes come in to learn. They have specific protocols, training protocols for their specific sport. And then I went there just to try it out. And I was there training for a marathon. This is about 50 pounds ago. But I was training for a marathon. But there was somebody else next to me that was literally, he'd come in, they had it was almost like writing prescription for their specific needs. Like, this guy wanted to go hiking in the mountains. So they wrote a specific training program for him, just so he could get used to carrying his pack and going up in the mountains to go hunting with his friends out in Idaho or someplace.
Which,
like
again,
that.
I feel very confident that the personal trainers that we have, they can write that. They can figure out, I have that much confidence in that they, but that's more one-on-one per se than your entire sports team.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a quick question then. Does Park and Rec / the community center have guidance on whether employees are allowed to use AI to help them write training plans? Because didn't you say Eden Prairie has, didn't you say Eden Prairie has a moratorium, no AI assistance?
Yeah, but you have to have permission from your director.
But permission from your
Yeah,
director.
I guess-
Do we have any sort of guidance yet on AI? Because I think it's a huge tool in the fitness industry. Like, if you have someone putting in the correct prompts, vetting it, it can really save a lot of
No,
time.
I guess we have not even really dabbled in that yet, per se. And I think, like you said, it would probably be something higher than I would be able to make that decision or say, yes, let's do it.
Yeah, Marshall.
I mean, you obviously, I just want to say
On
really quickly,
record, I
obviously you need
support it.
someone who has the correct certifications, vetting everything that gets spit out. And that's the whole purpose of it enhancing someone's
Right,
job.
right.
I am in no way ever saying AI should replace a human. But
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You with the personal space issues.
robots
Thank
are
you very
coming for me.
much.
Thanks, Missy. Thank you very much.
And just to share, obviously, the appreciation that I have for Missy is just her passion for people and their well-being, and then just that lead by example, positive attitude that she brings to each and every day. So, and then thank you too for sharing in regard to the group fitness classes. That's exactly what we're going for. That our community center is a place where you feel you belong as part of a group fitness center or whatever brings you there. Absolutely, we're achieving our goal in that. So thank you for sharing that. Next up is our ice arena manager, David Wabi. He is our supervisor, and David Wabi is actually at a conference here today, so we're going to have him come to us virtually, hopefully. Let's try that again.
My apologies, I can't be with you tonight. I'm currently attending the U.S. Ice Rink Association's North American Rink Conference and Expo this week in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. While here, I'll be attending a 28-hour course on ice maintenance and equipment orientation, as well as having the ability to network and connect city of Chaska or city of Carver residents, with each session ranging anywhere from 8 to 10 weeks in length. For the 2024 calendar year, we brought in over $45,000 in revenue from skating lessons. Currently in 2025, we've had 302 unique skate lesson participants in either our winter session or a spring session of skating lessons, of which 199 are City of Chaska or City of Carver residents. In both years, the average age in which skate lesson participants have been is age 5. Ice rink rental revenue, we offer prime time and non-prime. Your prime time hours are more of your winter season, and then your non-prime are your slower season or your off season. As you can see, in 2025 here, we'll increase our prime time ice rental rate to $250 per hour, as well as increase our non-prime ice rental rate to $190 per hour. In 2024, we surpassed over $759,000 in ice rink rental revenue. And currently, so far in 2025, we've eclipsed over $315,000 in ice rink rental revenue. Based on how I feel our summer's ice schedule is shaping up to be, I certainly believe we'll eclipse, match, or either surpass that mark of the 2024 mark. A partnership that the City of Chaska entered into in 2024 was with Ringside Advertising Network, which has resulted in 31 dashboards in Arena 1, which has resulted in $17,000 in revenue generated to date. Also, in 2024, we renewed our lease with Breakaway Academy, which has resulted in 767 hours of ice use during the school year, during the school day. In March of 2024, we also converted a 20 by 20 foot room that was leased by Breakaway Academy into what we now call the Ringside Room. The Ringside Room has been a great success and has hosted many team dinners, youth hockey association gatherings, birthday parties, and more, as well as video sessions. To date, we've had 23 birthday parties, so I would say about 1 to 2 ice skating themed birthday parties per month. Some facts on facility use. During the winter season, we offer special themed open skates, one of which is called our Cosmic Skates. In this past year, from December through February, we had 6 Cosmic Skate sessions on either a Wednesday night or a Friday night. On average, we had about 56 paid participants at each of our Cosmic Skates, with Wednesday, January 29th being our most attended Cosmic Skate session with 85 paid participants. during a winter season weekend, we average about 1,200 spectators or individuals coming through the arena doors. That goes to show just how busy we were that weekend. With that, I want to say thank you for taking the time to listen to me, and I sure hope I see you guys on the ice soon. Thank you.
And again, that was our ice arena supervisor. We'll cut that there. All right, awesome, thank you. And one thing that I really appreciate from David Wabi is that he really works really hard to provide what he calls the Chaska experience, and talks a lot about how people come in and expect the Chaska experience when they come into the ice arena. Very similar to how all of our facilities are maintained and all of our programs are run, but David really takes that to heart and works extremely hard to provide that Chaska experience. Next, I'd like to invite up David Dowden, our facilities maintenance supervisor. David.
Thank you. Hey, good evening, folks. Again, I'm David Dowden. I'm the maintenance supervisor at the Chaska Community Center. So we've got a big facility over there, roughly 210,000 square feet. We have 2 pools, 2 gyms, 2 sheets of ice. We have multiple classrooms, a theater, banquet hall, senior center, daycares, preschools. There's a bunch of stuff that goes on within the facility. And within those 2, we have the 2 pools, the hot tubs, the sauna, well, dry sauna, the steam room. For you, we keep the pool right now. I've got the kiddie pool at roughly 89 degrees, the lap pool 86, 87-ish, and I keep the air temp roughly 82 degrees. I mean, if you look at by the book, the air temp should be, they say 10 degrees above water temp. That would be way too hot. So 82, 83 degrees, we've normally found to be pretty good. Some of our updates from 24-25, the rinkside room that David Wabi talked about, we went in there, it was a bare room, concrete floors, very high open ceilings. We had to adjust the sprinklers and drop those down. We put in drop ceilings with new lights, new paint, a large big screen TV that we can use to hook computers to and stuff like that. We put in rubber flooring. That way we can do ice skating parties and there's no need to take your skates off. You can just go right in there, do your pizza, cake, and all that, then get right back out on the ice. We also put in plumbing in there with sink and stuff so people can wash up, plus new tables and chairs. Where it talks about adding CO2 to our hot spa. We were having an issue. The hot spa is only 1,000 gallons, so the chemical composition changes very quickly throughout the day depending on the number of people that are in there. So what we found is by adding CO2, we actually cut down on our acid and sodium bicarbonate use. So, and with the price of acid and sodium bicarb right now are very high, the price of CO2 is quite low. So it's actually saving us. I think we're probably averaging somewhere between $500 and $1,000 a month in chemicals by adding that CO2 that I spend roughly $200 a month on. So that has helped us, 1, to maintain our water quality better, but 2, it's cutting down on the cost of the chemicals that we're using. The arts lobby and conversion. So we had the Carver County Arts Consortium that was in that little storefront area that was there. Once they moved out, we went in and we cleared everything out. We put tables and chairs in there right now. I'd like to get some better stuff eventually, but we've got some temporary tables and chairs in there. We've also using some of the other areas as storage, because storage is at a premium at the Chaska Community Center. So wherever we can get stuff in, that's where we're putting it at. So that has made a nice new seating area, not only for lunches and stuff, but for parents to overwatch their kids whenever they're doing swim lessons and stuff like that. Lighting in the lodge. We have recently, we're almost complete. We had to order a few more lights, but working with Nick Hartwig in the building maintenance department from Public Works, we are replacing all the lighting in the lodge from incandescent to LED lighting. So that's gonna help, 1, it cuts down on the heat in there. Also, it's gonna cut down on our electric bills, and we should get more life out of those LED lights. Arena 2 heat. I don't know if any of y'all were in Arena 2 this winter. It was quite cold because the heat exchanger, our main heating unit for Rink 2 had gone out. We finally got that replaced just at the end of winter. But it's nice and warm in there now, so we'll be looking forward to, as it gets colder this year, that we will have that heat kicking back in. Brick City and our meeting room updates. So the tables that we had in our Brick City room and pretty much with our red maple and white oak rooms most of them were original, if not late 90s. So they gave a good life to the community center, but we ran ahead and decided to replace those. So now in our Brick City banquet room, we now have new rectangle and round tables, so we can offer different options and new seating in there. And in Brick City red maple and white oak, we have added new tables and new chairs are going to be in the future that way. And we have gone from the old metal style tables to commercial plastic tables. They're lighter, easier to store, and a heck of a lot cheaper. We were looking at cost-wise on the metal tables from the ones that we had to replace them with the same ones. They were roughly $800, $850 a piece. And on the plastic tables, we can get those, if I buy them in bulk, which I did this time, we can get those for roughly about $90 a piece. So I can get 9 tables roughly for what we were paying, 8 or 9 for what we were paying for the cost of one. So that will help us. In the long run, we may have to replace onesies and twosies every once in a while, but it will not be at the cost as to what it would be if we were trying to replace those metal tables and the metal chairs. And then the lower gym storage. So again, we talked about storage being at a premium at the community center. So what we did, we had a huge storage room in our lower gym, but it was always very cluttered. So last year, me and one of my employees, Andy McBrady, got in there, and we added shelving to both sides. So we were able to take different areas around the community center that we had stuff stored in and actually consolidate it. So now instead of having to go up to the track to find something or go to one of the boiler rooms to find something, 90% of Parks and Recreation stuff is stored all in that one storage room. So it's making life a heck of a lot easier when we're moving stuff around for events and things like that. So, any questions so far before I get to the testimonial section? I know I talk a little bit fast. I may have a slight accent, and I've got a little scratchy voice right now, so might not be the easiest person to understand.
Speak like you're giving a testimonial, so it's good. It's good.
So I always try to impress on my staff that we want to make sure that we're providing a good, safe, clean environment at the community center. And not just in our gyms and stuff like that, but in our swimming pools, in the ice arena. So we try to do a very good job of making sure that we're maintaining that environment, keeping that environment. Like Marshall has said before, it may be old, but it's going to always be clean, right? It will always be clean. It will always be well maintained.
So we can't be old and dirty.
I'm adding that to my vow renewals.
Oh, my God. Is this being taped?
What?
Good.
And I have some of the longest running staff at the community center. I have 3 of my full-time employees that have all been there for, I believe, 17, 18, and 20 years, respectively. Then I have 2 newer staff, one for full-time. One has been there for 3, and I've got one that's working on the 2nd year. And I have one of my part-time employees she's been there 30 years, 31 years, so roughly since the community center opened. So we've got some staff that have been there for a long time. They know the public very well. So we want to make sure that we're providing that. I will bring I love bringing my kids down here, right? And I can tell you that it's a safe environment when I walk in and let my kids go, right? I feel that comfortable that nothing's going to happen to my children, and I want everybody else to have that same feeling whenever they visit the Chaska Community Center. And I like to talk to when we have new members come in, when we have people come in for tours. If I'm free and somebody needs a tour, I'm happy to do that because I love to talk about my facility, right? This is what I do. I enjoy it. I'm excited to come to work every day. I have great coworkers. We have great managers. We have great leadership. So I'm excited to have other people come into that. So, yeah. Any questions?
I worked for 24-Hour Fitness for several years, and I am constantly impressed with how clean our facilities are. Anything that has water or sauna, it's just you have a recipe for ick. And our facility is so clean.
And that is 100% true. And that's why, especially like hot tub and stuff, that is one of those that, like our pools are big, right? Our lap pool's 96,000 gallons. Our leisure pool kiddie pool, is roughly 42,000 gallons. So it takes a lot to sway those either way. when it comes to chemical composition, things like that. But if you look at our hot tub, which is only 1,000 gallons, it does not take a lot. So the pools only get drained once a year, but they get drained, everything gets deep cleaned, we refill them. It's a week-long process because for me just to heat the pools back up from tap water to whatever temperature we keep it, it takes roughly 3 to 5 days, right? So that takes a little bit. But the hot tub doesn't take that long. So every week it gets drained, sanitized, scrubbed down, refilled, re-chemically treated, reheated. And all that is done Sunday morning between 4:30 and 8. And it's back open by 8 o'clock when our patrons show up. So we definitely make sure that we're taking care of all this stuff. Awesome. Thank y'all very much. Have a great night.
Thank you.
And just to share how I respect the pride that David Dowden has in facilities and how well he collaborates, not only just with his staff, but throughout all the different departments we get to work with. So thank you, David. Next up, we get to meet Jamie Wyman, our Resource and Events Supervisor.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jamie Weeman. I was sitting back there looking at the wall and realizing I have worked here through 3 mayors, going on our 4th. So, been here since 97, so clearly I enjoy my time here at the city. So I am the Resource and Event Services Supervisor. I take care of reserving all the facilities within the community center. That is about 13 facilities, one of those being off-site. So I'm just going to touch on a few of those tonight. Some of the highlights that you can see here of some of the things that we've done over the last year into this year. Quite a few things, some new things. Couple ones to touch on would be our church group that uses our facility every Sunday morning, Cross of Grace. They have been with us now for 19 years. They started, I believe, in 2006. So every Sunday they are in our building from about 8 to 12:30, and they use pretty much almost like the whole west end of the building with all of our meeting rooms, and they use our theater for their main Sunday service, and then the rest of the spaces are used for like their Bible studies or youth adult Bible studies and that sort of thing. We also have our biannual quilt show, which is presented by our local Chaska Area Quilt Club. So they're here every 2 years. I think from what I remember, it goes as far back as at least the early 2000s that they've been doing their quilt show at our space. And they are definitely growing, so that's a really great thing to see. So they were here last year, and then they'll be back for their biannual show next year. Jill kind of touched on this early on, but we had our first partnership with the Southwest Metro Chamber where we did, in combination with their expo, we did a community center open house. That was really successful, so we're making that an annual thing. So that'll be back in January of 26. And during this expo, for my area, I do like to try and offer some special discounts. If you book a facility with me, doesn't matter, how far out it is, you can get a discount on that rental if you book it during the open house. And then some exciting and unique happenings that happened over last year and just recently were we were the site for 2 separate filming occasions. So one being a commercial shoot that was shot both outside the building and inside, and it was a commercial that was encouraging Minnesota voting. So that commercial ran during the campaign. So they just had people acting like they were coming into the building to vote and that kind of thing, so it was kind of fun. And then the other one most recently, probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago, is we had a filming crew come in. If you're familiar with ABC's journalism show 2020, Crime Junkies, so it was kind of exciting. They came in and used our building to shoot an episode of 2020 that they'll be doing. They're gonna let me know when it comes out. So, but they used our theater, our banquet room, a couple of our other smaller rooms. They set up one of the rooms as an interrogation room, where they were doing reenactment of an
They weren't
interrogation.
after a suspect here, were they?
No.
Okay.
But one of those pictures there on the bottom left is kind of a back shot of them doing one of their scenes there. So that was really exciting. So be sure to share that with everybody when the episode comes out, so you can see the community center in the background on national TV. So yeah, so those are some exciting ones that came through. One of our bigger facilities is our Brick City banquet room. So that room can accommodate up to 200 people, and there's a sunroom adjacent to it that can accommodate another 40 people. And there's also a catering kitchen in there, so it's a great room for larger events that have catering and that sort of thing. As you can see from the list, it's a space for all types of cultural expression, very diverse list of events ranging from your typical get-togethers to many different multicultural events. Some of the numbers that you see listed by some of those events are how many of that specific event we've held in that room. But I would say a great majority of our events are multicultural, which is a great thing to see coming through our building. We have affordable pricing, and we're inclusive and welcoming to ensure that everyone has an opportunity to celebrate their special moments within the community center. And then, as David mentioned, we did just recently include roundtables over the course of my years. That's a question we always got asked, is do you have roundtables? We always only have banquet tables, and people still had their event, but some people would rent rounds and that sort of thing, so it's really great to be able to offer those roundtables to our events. Another one of our bigger spaces is our theater. We added the theater in 1996 as part of the Arts Edition expansion. Expansion of the original community center, and the theater can seat up to 200 people. Just like the Brick City room, as you can see on that list, the space can accommodate a wide variety of events. We've had, again, many multicultural, like more of the dancing types of events in there. And then as part of their, well, I kind of alluded to that already, as part of their rental, the Cross of Grace does use that space every Sunday morning. And then we also have Chaska Dance Center, who's actually been holding dance classes at our building pretty much since the theater space opened. So they've been here for a very long time, and they are in there every Monday through Thursday night during the school year doing dance classes. So. Another big one for us is our birthday parties and our party packages. Our biggest one, of course, is our pool party. That one is very popular. I went back and we had about 184 pool parties alone just in 2024. People love that water slide, and we are, unlike some community centers, we are very flexible with our packages. You get unlimited swim time. We're not just holding you to just an hour in the pool or 2 hours. And then the package price includes an hour, but you can add on. So you can really make that party as long as you want. There's just like a base price to start from. And then one party in specific to touch on would be our Jamazing birthday party. With that package, you get our upper gym area privately for 1 hour, and then we set up our bounce house, and that gym also has a kids climbing wall. So it's a fun little space for kind of the younger kiddos, but you get this whole gym to yourself. You can run around, jump in the bounce house, climb on the wall. We put out a bag of miscellaneous activities that the kids can do too while they're in there that typically aren't out during regular open gym time. And then that package also includes a room rental, so you have a space to go for your food and gifts and that sort of thing. In addition to our birthday parties, we also offer overnight lock-ins or after-hour lock-ins. So what this includes is you get our entire building to yourself for after hours between 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. We do have staff on site. And then the base package for that is $2,000, and what that gets you is the banquet room, so you have a space to gather and do food and that sort of thing. And then you get swimming, the gyms, one ice arena for skating, and then the 2 racquetball courts where you can do racquetball or volleyball. And then the option is there to add on other rooms if you wanted to do that. Yeah.
Are you allowed to share the wildest lock-in story? I had no idea that the community center did lock-ins. That sounds amazing.
Maybe when we're not recording.
I'll reach out to you privately. That's a really good point.
I do know that with some of the senior ones that you see there on the list, I think they come like the day before and they hide things so that they have access to it the next night, so.
Okay.
Contraband.
But their chaperones, we've always had these groups are so great with their chaperones, and they're very good about keeping a good eye on the kids, but yeah.
That's awesome.
But we do have, the list that you see there are repeat groups that have been coming from many. Belle Plaine is kind of new to our repeat ones, but so those other ones have been coming for lock-ins for a very long time. You have church youth groups, senior graduations, prom and post-prom, just general middle school or school outings and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's a great thing to offer. We obviously do have staff on site to keep track of all that, and yeah, it works out well. So it's a great offering.
What rooms do they use for like a post-prom? Like where they?
So some of the things that they would rent the separate rooms for is we've had like caricatures or henna tattoos, chair massages.
They take like that whole side of the community center then, like all the rooms and the
all the
theater and all that
rooms,
stuff?
and then they, sometimes in the gym, they'll bring in inflatables or casino. They'll set up a casino, photo booths, game area, coffee bars. Yeah, they really, some of these go all, I mean, they're here.
Yeah.
They set up and these kids come in and yeah, so they come right from graduation. So, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then, so for impact, lucky for me, I am a revenue maker and not much of an expense in my area. So these are the 4 spaces that I would say generate the most revenue to kind of make us successful financially. And then, as you can see, we have some testimonials from renters. I think my favorite one is probably the bottom one, where they say they would do a party here again and recommend it to friends. I like to hear that because I know people do, because I have people call to book a party and they'll say, oh, my daughter was just at a party, or my friend told me about the party they had. So, yeah, sometimes you feel like a party planner because people don't really know, like, how do most people do it? What do people normally do? And this and that, and it takes a few emails and a few phone calls. But yeah, I mean, I think the record, from what I can remember, is on one Saturday we had 16 birthday parties. So yeah, it can get pretty busy and keep Dowden's staff very busy. Yeah, but other than that, to end with, just to say that the facilities at the community center serve the Park and Recreation's vision as a place to make lifelong memories, and what better space to do that in these amazing places that we have, where you can bring in your family and your friends and gather and make those memories. So yeah, it's definitely been a pleasure working here for 28 years almost, so yeah, it's great. 28 more.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're wonderful. I just respect Jamie so much for her dedication to excellence and how she treats all of these rental groups as an extension of her family and really takes care of them in our facilities. So thank you, Jamie. And with all of our testimonials, and you see all of the impact, all the positive things that our team has accomplished together throughout this past year. Many of them touched on here this evening in their shared stories, but so many good things happening with our facilities and within our team. And it's because of all of their efforts that this has happened, and there's still more to come. A couple odds and ends that we haven't touched on. We went online membership. So at the end of November, early December, was the first time that we provided that opportunity for our community to secure a membership online. We added, like Zach shared, a couple different discount opportunities for seniors and military. We added the signs, if you've been in the facility, and I hope you all, if you haven't taken the time to come in, new directional signs. We've added some action photos that represent all of the fun things happening within our Park and Rec department. We've added a communication tool at our front desk so that it's called OneNote, and all of our teams throughout our department can share, hey, this is happening today, or heads up for this for our guest services staff, and kind of a log for them to have the information readily available to them. So that's been a great tool here just this past winter and spring. More to come as far as I mentioned earlier, we are in the process of hiring our customer service supervisor. So they'll oversee all of the front-facing staff for our front desk, as well as then extending out to our concession stand out at Fireman's Park. But really, that position working to really set the culture and the tone for internal and external customer service relations. So looking forward to securing that position here in the month of June. We're going to be looking to offer food trucks at the community center front door. So maybe you need that coffee in the morning before or after your workout. That might be an opportunity to make some additional partnerships with our community. Expanded marketing opportunities, working with Chris Lindahl in our department to really continue to promote all of the great things that are happening at the community center. And here this year, we've got some financial support from the council to make some updates to our indoor playground. So with that, again, a huge thank you to our team for all that they do on a daily basis, and thank you to all of you for your support as we continue to help promote our recreation and leisure activities within our community center and the overall well-being of our community. So thank you so much. Any questions? Yep, oh, I'm sorry, yes.
No, this one's a question for you slash probably more Marshall. So, and I'll just start by saying I personally am of the opinion that the community center is a service to our community, and it should not have to financially sustain itself. Like, I really am a big fan of like our community funding it and it not having to be an enterprise fund. That being said, Chanhassen closed on their 13.5 acres, and they have the intention of building their community center. And once that's built, I did not see in any of the articles I read how they intend to fund their operations, but they will fund it somehow, and that will draw from our pool of users. Have you thought about how we're going to try and weather that hit so that we can continue to provide all of these opportunities? And that might be more of a Marshall question, like how are we going to?
I'd just start initially by saying continuing to do the great work that we're doing. I mean, we talk about customer service being ingrained in all that we do and making it a place that you feel like you belong. That sense of belonging and that I get to see my neighbor there in that community spirit, hopefully we can continue to thrive and help shine. Along with that, being aware of, yes, there are definite things that we need to continue to improve upon, services and programming and opportunities for our community to continue to draw them in and continue to reach out to them and to share that. How are you? You're moving into the area. Let's tell you all about the great things that we're doing and how we're marketing that as well. Sure.
Yeah, and just to sort of piggyback on what Jill said, you know, we got to just be able to control what we can control. And to me, that's exceptional customer service and keeping the facility clean and safe and providing a variety of programming, you know, which we're already doing, but, you know, continue kind of through that process of improvement where we can. I think we've just created a lot of that, maybe what I call muscle memory for our community members. I think they identify with our facility. We're probably going to see some go to Chanhassen, but I feel pretty confident that, you know, the majority of our members, which are Chaska and Carver residents, will likely stick with us. But also in the spirit of, you know, staying on top of trends and reinvesting, I think having a nearby facility only pushes us to, you know, really think about our master plan and how we're going to implement that into the future. So
I have a
little nudge.
follow-up question then. They have a 300,000 square foot facility that's been designed for them for only 80 million, and our remodel of our 210,000 square foot facility, which I understand that also 10 million of that would be for a small addition, but we're looking at 70 million, and that was shocking to me. Do you get a sense that they are way underestimating what it's going to cost? Or, I mean, I think it's going to be a hard sell for our community to say, look at what they built for only 10 million more. And I know they won't have pool facilities.
Yep.
But do you have any sense to why we're so close in numbers?
That I don't know, and I kind of had that same reaction. You know, it's a large, brand-new facility, you know, but I think from what I understand, that's a high-level cost estimate. I think they're just bringing on more of the architectural design and starting to get into the design process. So, you know, I think it'll be interesting to sort of see where the actual number comes in as they, you know, get into the more definition of what that facility is going to be in the future.
I think we're going to have a really detailed and very nuanced response to people's questions. And I mean, I think it'll come back to pool facilities a lot because that's so expensive, but that's not going to help our case.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we just have to be on top of that.
Yeah. Well, and if you remember, 25-ish million of it is just deferred maintenance alone, which, you know, things we got to do, but it doesn't, you know, feel like you're adding anything, you know, so, yeah. Good questions, thanks.
They're gonna be shiny and new, you know, but, you know, the thing that makes the community center special is, you know, what you all do and what you all been talking about here tonight, you know. Missy doesn't work at the new Chanhassen someplace, you know. Neither does Joe and Jacob, his loyal underling I see pictured right here, you know. I think there was an earlier picture with him having grown a mustache, which was an interesting addition. But, you know, I think it just comes back to all the things that you've been highlighting here. It's the culture in the community center. You know, there's history there, and I think Erin has even talked, Mayor Hubbard has even talked about how she grew up around here and going to the community center and having parties there when she was like in high school. And, you know, now having, you know, a child of her own and being involved in our community still and being able to see that next generational thing carry forward. And, you know, that's the special thing about the community center. I moved here in 2014. It was one of the reasons why I moved here. You know, I'd heard about the community center. And I used to live in Egan where you used to work. But, no, it's wonderful, but I think that's the thing that you're creating is the culture inside the community center. The facilities matter, the programming matters, all that stuff's important, you know, that's super important, but it's all about, you know, who are the people in there tying it together, you know. Rebecca, who works, you know, I'd bring my kids every Friday night to go swimming. She was always there, Rebecca and Amanda. I just saw Rebecca a couple weeks ago. I still say hi to her, and we still talk about things. She asks about my daughters, you know. That's the kind of stuff I can't get at the New Chan place, you know.
Very proud of the team in that fact.
Yeah, and I think things like, you know, the theater and the lodge and some of the rentable spaces, they create different opportunities within that facility that brings in more of those different cultures. And, you know, that's what I love about that facility is it truly is a community center, you know, more than a, you know, some cities call them recreation centers, and I think that would be missing the boat because it's more than just recreation that we're offering there. There's a lot of different enrichment activities and just the socialization and connecting people and all the different benefits that come with it. So I think that's unique about the Chaska Community Center. Well, thank you, Jill.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you, Joe.
Thank you all for your time.
for the
Yes.
excellent work you do. Really appreciate it.
Thank you all for working very late. It's like 8:30.
Thank you.
So thank you
Yeah.
for extending your work day. I appreciate it.
Missy, what time was your first class this morning?
I didn't teach till 10:45, so I'm good, but I'm usually in bed by 8:15.
Yeah.
So we're past your bedtime. So
It's
thank
past
you.
my bedtime, thank you.
Thank you for being here past your bedtime.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so
I
much.
think
Thank
I
you.
need you to hit the stop share. Yep. Have a good night, everybody. Good job.
Lock in.
You
That
did?
was- Yeah.
Yeah.
Chaska Community Center,
Yeah.
seniors.
There we go.
Like, what time did it start?
That's awesome.
I think I went to one walk when I was a kid. I don't remember when it started or.
You had dinner there, I think. We had dinner. We'd go all throughout the building. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and then 6 in the morning, parents came and picked you up.
It'd be so cool to
Yeah.
go swimming though, like in the middle of the night.
Yeah. Watkins.
Okay.
It's gonna be one of our next.
That brings us to item 8, discussion items, and 8A, park updates.
All right.
There's the canvas right there.
There it is.
Look at that.
All right, so we got a few park updates for you tonight. So starting off with the Southwest Chaska Park, just coming off of the Parkapalooza event. Just thought I'd sort of reel back time a little bit and then just step us up through that Parkapalooza event we had last Thursday, you know, and then touch on what's coming next. So throughout kind of the entire kind of end of winter and early spring, we've really been focused on getting organized for this park project and the development of the master plan, and then transitioning into what I call phase 1 community engagement. And you can see there was a variety of things we did, from having a presence at the Community Center Carnival event at the Community Center. We've got the project website up and running, and within that we had an online survey available, which I'm going to cover some of the results from that. There was an idea board where people were able to go in and upload pictures or just type up different ideas that people were able to engage with. We met with a variety of different focus groups. I think there was 8 different groups that we met with. And then we worked with Pros Consulting to develop a market study. So a lot of effort went in to really try to engage the community, inform them about the project, get them excited about this new park coming, you know, and generally starting to understand what do they see in terms of ideas for this future park. And we've had some awesome engagement as a part of that. So like I said, jumping in just with a little bit of the online survey, we ended up having over 3,000 unique visitors go to that project website, and 1,400 surveys, online surveys were taken. I'll share with you that Confluence, the consultant that we're working with, was pretty blown away by the amount of engagement here in Chaska. I think it actually tops any other community and any other project that they've done, which they've done some large city projects. So that's just a great testament to our community being engaged. And also I think, you know, our strategy and our approach on the staff side too, and the intentionality that we've brought to this process has helped shape that. Here's just a makeup of the respondents of the survey. So as we would expect, about 70% were Chaska residents, and then the other 30% were generally our neighboring communities that responded to the survey. Here's a question we had asked within that survey: which park trends should be considered at Southwest Chaska Park? And these are just kind of a variety of the trends that our consultants are seeing out in the field as they're developing parks. And so survey respondents were able to select up to 4 different options. And here you can see the top 4 that stood out were nature trails, splash and spray pad, enhanced food, like concessions, restaurant. And then I would say there's kind of a close tie there with health and wellness and pickleball. We had a question within the survey that asked people, you know, what type of features would they like to see at a park building? And so there you can see kind of the overwhelming response or desire would be to have year-round restrooms along with a covered open air shelter. And then, you know, for that, that park building to serve as a winter warming house as well.
Do we have any place that has year-round restrooms right now? Like, what facilities do we have?
We
that
do
have that?
not, no. So all of ours are generally kind of Memorial Day to Labor Day
That's really
seasonal
interesting.
restrooms. Yep. But you're starting to see that more now where parks are putting in more modern park shelters that have heating and air conditioning within them to be able to have year-round restrooms.
It's almost like a rest stop kind of an environment.
We'd ask questions, again, just thinking about the design approach to the park and trying to make sure that the park also has some winter activities within it. So just ask that question, what would encourage more people to visit it in the winter? And you can see sledding would be popular along with ice skating or an ice trail, which you'd kind of expect when asking that question for the most part, but good information to see there. And then we had asked a set of questions that really got at the different themes to be looking at, to incorporate into the park. And rather than going through every theme and every question, I built out this slide based on the responses, which is really highlighting kind of when people ranked it, they had the option of ranking it as either a high priority, priority, neutral, low priority, or not at all. And so I was just building a slide here to showcase generally what were people viewing as high priority and priority. And so the blue bars represent the percentage of survey respondents for that particular theme who selected it as high priority. And then the orange would be the respondents that selected as a priority for that theme and kind of added it on. So it's kind of ranking top to bottom there based on high priority. So the way you would read that, for instance, on the bottom for the theme of play, approximately 55% of the respondents selected that as a high priority, and then about another 30% selected it as priority. So kind of a total of 85% would rank play as, you know, a priority to put in the park. So, so you can kind of see there the top ranking kind of additive themes are play, sport, nature, and then kind of a tie between those top three of water, move, and gathering up above it. So I think this was sort of the mindset of the landscape architects going into that Parkapalooza event, trying to honor the themes that the community was generally ranking as priority and high priority. And really, it's kind of striking a balance with all of these themes. So all of that engagement and information led up to the fun event we hosted at the community center within our Brick City banquet room last week Thursday. It was our Parkapalooza event. It was an all-day event. The staff from Confluence showed up at about 8 o'clock that morning to set up, and then they began the process of starting to draw out concepts. There were 3 different groups because the goal of this exercise was to develop 3 different concepts for the community to react to going forward. And then throughout the afternoon, we had invited staff pretty much from every single city department. We'd scheduled them to come in throughout the afternoon and intentionally had it set up where there was some overlap of different departments But it was a way for staff to be involved in the process, generally kind of see the process of how they're drawing it. And there was just a lot of good interaction between the landscape architects and staff in terms of, what do you think of this, or what are we missing, or, and especially as it would relate to our park maintenance department within Public Works. I think they found that, very beneficial to just sort of understand what was getting factored or considered into the park. And then at about 4:30, we wrapped up and then sort of transitioned to the room and got it set up more for a presentation format, in which we then invited the Park and Rec Commission along with City Council to see what had kind of the end product of that day was. Confluence did a good job of just kind of going through and explaining each one of the concepts and the thought process behind them, and I think there was some good just discussion that came out of that and provided us as staff with some good direction going forward. I think the thing that I would reflect on sort of where we landed was it was interesting to see that across the three different concepts, there is starting to be some commonality, I would say, on the layout, and generally kind of where things go. And to me, I think that's speaking to just maybe the understanding of just what fits where based on the topography of the site. So I think that's good to see. But then I think there's a nice variety of ideas and some differences between the three concepts, which is really good because we want to put out three different things to be able to get reactions and comments back from the community to sort of continue to shape the plan going forward. So kind of next up for us in working with Confluence, some things we'll be doing is updating the project website. We want to get a lot of this survey feedback up onto the website, the results from the market study up onto the website, and then working to refine the three concepts. So the three concepts that they did during that Parkapalooza event were hand-drawn. So I think they go back and digitize them, get them a little bit more for like an online preparation, and situated where they'll have a little bit more of a similar look across the three. A little bit more, I think, labeling so people can understand, what is being shown in the concepts. So they'll be working on that, and then they'll be doing some high-level cost estimation for those three concepts. Again, it's high level because we're not into the detail stage of it, but they should have a really good understanding of generally how much things cost and associating a range for what that would be. I think on a staff side, we want to make sure that whatever we're going to show is within our, generally within our budget. We wouldn't want to show something that's radically above and beyond, and then, we're not able to follow through on that. So we need to have that understanding. So there'll be a kind of a next level review with staff to understand those refined concepts and the cost estimation before we would take them back out to the community. But then the intent is those three concepts will go back up onto that project website. They utilize a really interactive platform called Social Pinpoint. So it'll be, community members will have the opportunity to go in and really zoom in on the plan and put in like pinpoints on certain things and type up their comments and suggestions around them. And I think others can then interact with those comments. So based on the amount of feedback we just got through the online survey, I would expect we'll see the same or more with the interaction of the concepts. And then we'll also print them up on large display boards and be bringing them out to both Fire and Ice and our River City Days, and having a booth presence and, you know, engaging people at those events to tell us what they think about the concepts. So that's kind of where we're at in the process. I'd turn it over. Any questions you have, or, you know?
Just because not everyone was at the Parkapalooza, it might be good to bring those larger concepts to an upcoming Park and Rec Commission so we can really review them a lot closer, right?
Yeah, yep.
As a group.
Yep.
Agreed.
Good thought.
Because they are cool, but there are some neat differences too, and to have them call those out a little bit more, I think would be helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, and what I'll probably ask of Confluence is maybe even to type up a little narrative for each of them, so that as you're looking at it, you sort of understand what it's showing. Yep.
Are we having a regular meeting next month?
So I think what I would probably do is next month consider having a work session.
Where you can really
You know,
look at
where by then they're probably gonna have them to more of that refined point as well.
That'd be great.
To be able to just go through them and
Yeah, I'd love to look at them.
kind of make sure we're all feeling comfortable about them before they go back out, because you know, you're gonna get questions from your friends and neighbors, and you wanna make sure you feel familiar with them.
A lingering thought that I had after Parkapalooza, not Parkapalooza, but the meeting that we just had last week, was people brought up tournaments a few times, and then parking concerns related to tournaments. And that wasn't brought up a ton, but it was brought up enough that I thought about it afterwards. And there's no iteration that was shown to us that actually shows field space that would ever host a tournament at all. And so I kind of left that aside then. I was like, well, we don't need to talk about tournaments. We don't need to talk about tournament parking because there will be no tournaments at this park. I just don't see how there could be unless I completely misunderstand how some sports are run, but.
Yeah, well, there was one concept that showed a larger, you know, field arrangement that could house up to four youth-sized baseball fields on it. So you could, in theory, have a little tournament there. I think we're probably more set up, though, where the city would host a tournament and teams would be at multiple locations. You know, I don't think I see this as
Still wouldn't have like
as
all
an
tournament
intense
traffic,
single
though.
location site.
I don't, it's not really lending
That makes
itself to
sense, though. Thank you for that.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything else, anybody?
Any questions? All right. Well, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ashley, and she's going to give an update on Meadow Park.
Oh, our park planner.
Thank you. So as Marshall said, I'm here this evening just to give an update on Meadow Park. Back, it was either end of 2024 or early this year, gave a very brief overview of Meadow Park and what our process was going to be for, I'm just moving this out of my way, Marshall. For how we were planning to move forward with the development of that park. So since then, we've been chipping away at that. So a majority of the work that we've been doing, back in December, we had our first steering committee meeting. At that time, we had 2 residents who were part of that meeting. Since then, we've had a 3rd resident who's joined our steering committee. The rest of the steering committee is made up of city staff. So members from Park and Rec, the police and fire chiefs, myself, and then also some members from Public Works, and I don't think I'm missing anyone. I think that's everyone. If I did, I publicly apologize. And then a bulk of our community engagement happened in February. So we sent out 921 postcards out to the households. You can see here in the middle of the screen, kind of that red area is the the area that we targeted for that park. And really, it was getting to slightly larger than just our typical neighborhood park radius. And then we picked up just a few additional properties, bringing up to 212. So you can see that postcard that went out just there to the right to those households. And then we also did attend and promote the survey that I'll talk a little bit more about here in just a moment at 2 open houses. So the first was at the Highway 41 and Engler open house that was very well attended in February. And so we had a booth there that talked about both city facilities and some of that plan, but then also Meadow Park because it aligned with the kickoff of that survey. Marshall and I also went and set up a table at the Chaska Place Apartments just to the west. We were there for a couple hours, brought cookies, and had some great conversations with some of the residents there who asked a number of questions. Some of them talked fondly about Meadow Park and how they use it, and some of them needed to know where Meadow Park was, and so that was really fun to engage in that conversation. And also get to know and see some of the residents that live within that apartment. So kind of looking forward, tonight I'm going to talk about the survey, kind of how we're moving forward. This summer we plan to continue to refine the plans for the plan, I should say, not the plans like Southwest Community Park, but refine the plan. And then we're targeting construction to align with the opening of the public safety facility, but there's a lot of things that could influence that timeline, some of which happen with slight logistics happening with the public safety facility campus, but then some things that are also out of our control, like the weather. We just don't know what that will do. So if it doesn't happen for fall for completion in December, the goal is then to target early next spring to allow for a summer of play. So moving into to summarize just who took that survey, I would say 75% of the respondents lived within a 10-minute walking distance, which is really interesting and great to see because that's really the targeted audience that we have for neighborhood parks. Another 15% identified as living within that neighborhood, and then there were a few respondents that took the survey because they plan to hold events there at the park. Generally, those respondents noted that they came from households that contained mostly people who are 18 plus, so adults, and then also kids within that 6 to 12 year age range. And then additionally, 10% of those who responded did note that they had a mobility limitation or a disability that may impact how they utilize or access the park. So one of the things that we really wanted to understand to start the survey is, what did you like about Meadow Park before the playground equipment and the yes. So the word cloud there really gets to the respondents and their answers, but you start to see some of those themes rising to the top, really getting to the playground and the play equipment and the variety that was within that equipment. And then also, the amount of green space and open space that park provided. There was a lot of green area that a lot of the residents would utilize. And then sidewalks and some of the seating areas, and we saw a lot of the residents that we spoke to at the Chaska Place Apartments really talked about how they utilized that trail because it created a nice little walking loop through in the neighborhood where you didn't have to cross any streets. And if I remember right, it was about a quarter mile to a third mile when they completed that loop. And so that was a lot of the questions came down to, is the trail coming back? Because we really want that to come back. So you kind of see that start to rise in those survey responses as well. And then also just, the interesting connection to that fire station and then the future police station. So then on the flip side, we wanted to understand, what could we have done better, or what could this new design do better that would encourage you to visit the park more. So some of the things that were mentioned of those that did respond for dislikes, and not everybody provided dislikes. I just want to say it was a pretty small demographic, but some mentioned that there was a lack of seating. They wanted to see more, and they wanted to see that seating happen in the shade. And then again, kind of that just lack of overall shade within the park. Playground surfacing, which I think we do see that comment happen often, so getting to that, and then also there's no sport court or basketball court within that park. I think what's interesting is some improvements to encourage visits to the park. There was kind of three things that rose to the top there: more bike amenities, updated playground, and parking. And all three of those I hope that we're able to achieve as part of this redesign. So I mentioned earlier that there was 10% of respondents who mentioned or who noted that they had some sort of mobility limitation or a disability that would impact how they would utilize the park. So we asked that subgroup what could help make this park more accessible or accommodating to you as an individual. So some of the things that you see, I don't think were too surprising. Again, you know, inclusive playground, really getting to what is the surfacing within that park and how are we able to utilize it, and then providing seating. One was very specific and got to just how it's located and what its proximity is to other amenities, some as simple as just the garbage cans and just how they're able to interact with the park as a whole. And then again, shade rising to the top as we continue to get warmer and warmer days. So then we moved into, okay, so what does this new park look like? Help us, identify what's the most important to you. And the top three, we allowed them to pick three from this list to really narrow down to what is the most important. We have a limited budget, so what does that look like? The first was play equipment for 2 to 12-year-olds, which again, aligns to the target ages that we usually design the playground equipment around for those neighborhood parks. So it was good to see that that really rose to number one. And then it got into, okay, what does that play equipment look like? So there was a few questions that honed in on that as they moved through. So you see kind of a preference for nature-based playground with a variety of height and towers and slides and climbing equipment. And then you again see shade kind of rising to the top of that, and then also just overall gathering spaces and seating. We broadened that. Okay, so what else should go into the park? Again, you see shade, open turf, and then basketball and the multi-sport court and a shelter came in tied for the third place. And you also, again, on the open-ended part of that question, start to see some of those same themes popping up. So I think of the 96 responses, which doesn't sound as impressive when you hear it compared to Southwest Community Park, but we are really impressed with that number of respondents, and you start to see that there are some commonalities amongst what they are wanting within that park. So from there, the city's been working with HKGI, so Hazington Quigler Group Incorporated, and they have provided a concept plan based on that, the feedback that they heard from us as a steering committee, and then also from the survey results. So this is the most recent rendition of that. It gives about 4,300 square feet of play area. I think Marshall's also going to be talking about Hickory Park, so when you're looking at those plans to compare it, that has about 4,100 square feet of play area. So you can kind of compare and contrast the two. There's also a gazebo, kind of picnic shelter that's up in just to the northeast of the playground. Also getting to some bike racks within the park and where they would be utilized, probably the most, as you're coming in from the north, and then also providing some that would serve a dual purpose, both for the public safety facility as well as the park. And then again, you can see that trail wrapping through, and then a series of sidewalks to provide some internal walking. There were some landscaping requirements that happened, or that were required and kind of shifted over to this park that were needed in order to make the public safety facility work. So this park is starting to pick up some of those trees that were required. So you see that in this plan. And then again, benches. So, you know, when we first met with our steering committee back in December, those neighbors really advocated for some sort of sport court or basketball court here. When we put out the survey, that didn't rise to the top nearly as much as I think we expected based on their feedback. But you can see that down on that south end of the park, there is an alternative that does include a sport court, and I'll get to why that's an alternative here in just a moment. So I'm going to look for some of your feedback, should you have any, that we can, again, continue to use to refine the plan. There is a little bit of a but statement in what I'm about to say, though. So we went into this project with about $500,000 budget in mind, and about $175,000 of that is allocated just for that playground equipment, which is, you know, pretty consistent with what we see for neighborhood parks. And then the rest of that would sort of be spread around for, you know, site prep, some sidewalks, and all of the other amenities that would fall within that. What we have found is that that money went pretty quick, and so, you know, that $500,000 number really gets to site prep, the required landscaping, and really that playground equipment and some of the sidewalks. So that sport court listed as an alternative, you know, a lot of those park amenities that you typically see weren't included in that. That's part of it. That all of those additional things ran about an additional $113,000. So we were coming in over budget. So we're setting up a meeting next week with RJM, who's working on the public safety facility, to see if there's some overlap within what those budget scopes are from that project and this one, if there's some opportunities to utilize some of their contractors and kind of overlap some work to bring that cost estimate down. And then if we're not able to get closer to that number, you know, based on what your feedback is, and we either have to go out and get some more money, or we'll have to make some changes to the plan, make some decisions that will be hard. So I think with that, did I miss anything, Marshall?
I think you covered it well. Yeah.
So with that, you know, I'll take any questions. If you have any comments, I'm happy to hear those too.
I don't know how all of this is oriented related to the public safety facility, but has there been any conversations about, like, if there could be a dedicated spot in the back, like in a back parking area, to have a basketball hoop set up or something like that? I think Hopkins has a couple basketball hoops behind their fire station that I know I've seen firefighters out, like, playing with kids occasionally.
Yeah, so the police and fire chief are on our steering committee. It sounded like they were open to that. It's a little bit difficult to see, but this is a fenced-in area where it gets into more of the police access. So I think there is an opportunity to do that. Committing to it, though, is a little bit difficult until they're occupying that building and we understand a little bit more about how traffic is going to circulate through that site. Just because how they're anticipating to use that is that this entrance would serve as some of the access to that police department. So, you know, you don't want to promote having children playing in a parking lot that's frequently used. However, that said, you know, they may get into that building and find that circulation is a little bit different than they planned, and maybe there is an opportunity to do that.
Sure.
But it's a good comment, because it's something that we've been thinking about and talking about.
So if the basketball court didn't make it, would that change anything as far as your design, or would that just be left as green space?
Yeah, the idea is that it would be green space. You know, depending on how our next conversation goes and where that budget lands, I think there's still maybe the idea that we set it up where it could be added at some point in the future. maybe not as part of this project. But there's also, if you put it out there on the plan that it's going to be there, then there is some level of commitment that you're going to do it. But the idea is that, it would either be shown as open space, green space, or that's what it would be until such a time that we'd be able to implement it.
And was that a sport court, or was it just a simple asphalt?
Well, I think the initial ideas and the concepts that we were been shown were probably a wedding dress we couldn't afford from the onset, if you will. They were pretty immaculate and very exciting. But I think the cheapest, most cost-effective option is to blacktop it, right? And then, so putting down the asphalt.
They put that in when they're doing the parking lot, right?
Well, right, like that's, I think there's also a conversation of, is that something that we internally can do at some point in the future? But
Doug knows how to do that.
Yeah. Could they do the trails and allocate more money to the playground and get rid of, or at least limit the wood chips, which aren't real great, and put more accessible surface on it, and drive that budget up a little more, because I know that's the thing that does drive them, but it might be worth exploring whether either Public Works can do it, or whether they can do it as a add-on to the overall project rather than taking it out of the park budget.
Yeah, yep. Well, and I think that's one of the things that this conversation with RJM will help us refine,
Since the building project eliminated all of the trails in the first place.
Well, this large trail, it was anticipated as part of the public safety facility that trail would come back, right? And so there is, we do know that there is some work that was included as part of that budget to put that trail back. But it gets a little unclear as to the extent of that preparation. Are we just talking, we're removing the soil pile that's there, or are we doing some of that subgrading and that sub work, and all that's left then is putting the blacktop on, or did it ever get to the point where it was blacktopped? And that's the part where it gets a little bit fuzzy, and this next conversation will really help refine that.
How much is the overall cost of the project of just the public safety campus itself? I know that's publicly available,
Yeah, I can look it up. I don't know offhand.
Wasn't it mid-20s, maybe? Or no, it's more than that even.
And are those all water or holding ponds?
Yeah, there's
Outside?
there's stormwater to the west, and then
I know there was some concern about the proximity of that to the playground. What is that slope like?
There is a slope. We are looking at, you can barely see it on this plan, but providing a fence barrier. Is it gonna keep people out of the stormwater pond? Maybe not, but the goal is to slow them down.
Yeah.
Right? So we're looking at, as we understand the extent of that sloping and what the fencing will be like on the south side, what opportunities do we have to provide some of that fencing?
And was that fencing, was that a requirement, or was that just something, like you said?
It is, yep, it's not a requirement, so that the slope doesn't meet the threshold. It doesn't exceed that threshold where fencing is required. This is more of just providing, again, that buffer.
Sure, okay.
So you think that you could just, like for lack of a better term, rough in for a court there to be put up at a later date? Is that what you were saying?
I think that we have to first understand how close can we get to what our number is, because what we would hate to do is to put a concept plan out there that shows that it's a possibility and then not be able to execute it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the goal is hopefully we can get to a point where if we are not able to put it in, we can at least set it up so we could do it in the future, whether it be in-house or it gets bid out.
Just put a sign up then.
I think the other thing though that plays off of that though is the feedback we got on the survey. There was actually more interest or value in maintaining some green space above and beyond the sport court.
Oh, there was, okay.
Yeah.
So,
I just thought I saw
you know, I
that.
think
Yep.
overall,
Quite a bit on that, on those
so kind of
clouds.
the big picture here is we're constrained with space and we're constrained with the budget, and we're doing our best to maximize all of that the best we can. So, you know, I think it's not that bad of an idea to keep it as open space and even see
No.
how it gets used.
Absolutely.
And then
Right.
determine whether or not there would be value of adding a court down the road, or like Kevin mentioned, maybe once we understand the flow through the parking lot, there's a different opportunity to put a court or a basketball hoop within the parking lot, some of those things.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good point. You know, not necessarily setting up a barrier to preventing it in the future, but maybe not exactly setting it up 100% either. So finding what that balance is.
That west side of the public safety campus, is that there are public restrooms there? Is that?
Yep. So the public access is right in here. So the idea is that this access would provide, and that goes into that main lobby area where there is publicly accessible restrooms.
It's gonna make Meadow Park a hot draw. Bathrooms.
Yeah, I think what we've heard too from
Safest bathrooms.
you
in town.
all as a commission in the past is try to just increase the play value. That being sort of the priority. So we're working towards that, and then, I think the second thing that stood out was the gathering, which was.
Yeah, I think that was one we weren't expecting.
So maybe a little bit more of a larger, shelter.
That'd be awesome.
Does that apartment complex have like an outdoor, like any sort of covered outdoor area?
They do have it's an outdoor amenity space that their residents are able to utilize, but it seemed like a lot of them still came over to Meadow Park to be able to use it. But I don't think there's a playground there. They just kind of have an outdoor amenity area. It provides a lot of the usual outdoor apartment amenities.
Yeah, well, that's what I assume that's probably a big driver of people wanting to have that outdoor space for birthdays or family gatherings stuff.
They have an indoor pool, too.
Oh,
Yep.
do they?
Yeah, they do. Which I didn't know until we were there. I think some of the respondents, I anticipate some of them were probably like daycares or preschools. I did target some of them just because they often will bring their students or children to tour these types of facilities. I know in the year and a half that my daughter's been attending preschool here, she's gone and toured the fire station 3 times, and she's been to 2 different daycares in that time. So, and she loves it. And so, how do you also then provide a space for them to eat lunch out there and experience that as well? So I think that's maybe some of those respondents that plan to host events here. And also, Martine from the police department, he's advocated for an outdoor space to be able to congregate and meet with people in an informal way. And so, he's really excited about having that outdoor gathering space as well.
That'd be awesome.
And it looks like the projected budget for the public safety facility is like 41 million.
41?
I just saw an article that said it was, preliminary estimate was 47, so. Park is representing about 1% of that budget. good at ballpark math.
The city manager.
All right, well, thanks, Ashley.
Thank you, Ashley.
One thing I'd point out within Ashley's update is all of that survey information she shared with you, she designed and engineered that survey herself. So
Nice.
as a big compliment to her for doing all that. She had like built-in logic and all this stuff, so pretty cool, pretty cool.
Who needs AI when you got
Yeah,
Ashley?
yeah.
That is the A in AI.
We got
Yeah,
Ashley too.
yeah, yeah. All right, just a few more, quicker updates regarding our parks. So back on Saturday, April 26th, there was a tree planting event that involved our local Chaska Rotary Club and the Chaska Lions Club, along with Public Works and city staff. 124 new trees were planted, 80 in Community Park and 44 at Friendship. So just a big shout out and thanks to those that helped out with that event and planting more trees within our park system. Great team effort there. Hickory Park update. So as you know, Hickory Park, neighborhood park on the west side of downtown, kind of along the ravine trail there, was on our list of playground replacements for this year. So if you recall, I think 2-3 months ago, Scott came. I think that was the meeting I was not able to attend.
We had a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really did.
And you guys had a great work session looking at a variety of playground options. I think that was helpful for him to get that feedback from you, and then from there, he took that out to the neighborhood right after that, got some feedback, and ultimately landed on the playground you're seeing there on the right. So on the left is what exists there today, and then on the right is going to be what you'll see in the future. I do have a board here. I didn't have all of the digital imagery, but there's going to be more than just the tower. There will be the 2 to 5 year old play structure, a spinning apparatus, and then a swing bay as well. So really kind of a full redo of that entire neighborhood park.
Yeah, I think all of them had multiple things to it other than just the one large structure.
Yeah.
That's
yep.
the feature of it.
And then in talking with Scott, sounds like that is on the schedule to start June 16th.
Oh, wow.
So a little earlier than we've seen in the past, which is great, to get that replaced, and then kids will have new playground for the entire summer. And then Lions Park pickleball courts. Picture there showing the expanded courts. Just an update that those still need the surfacing done on top of them. In talking with Scott, we don't have an exact date yet from the installer, but the understanding is it should be sometime relatively soon. So that'll be exciting. You'll see the shade in there and the bike rack, and yeah, it's looking good over there. Just down there the other day, and seeing a lot of people out there with this warm weather already. It was cool to see. And that is it for park updates.
Okay, that closes out 8A, and that takes us to 8B, department happenings.
All right, so I'll go through, just got a few slides here. Always like to take the opportunity to just highlight a few other things going on within our Parks and Recreation Department. So first one we got up is what the rec is happening. This is a fun thing that our staff put together, this is actually a video, so go out onto our Facebook page, and the intent is generally once a week putting out a video that tells you what the rec's going on around here, with some exciting park and rec things, just highlighting like the next upcoming things within the week, and then steering people to the website to learn a little bit more. So I think it's fun to see staff having fun with this and dabbling a little bit more in video within our social media. And then we've got the summer music schedules coming out. So the Kids Entertainment Series will be starting on Tuesdays, with the first one kicking off June 10th at Fireman's Park. That June 10th event is also a free ice cream social to sort of kick off that Tuesday concert series. Last year when we did this, it was, you know, huge turnout. I think we ran out of ice cream, and I think 1,000 some people attended the event, so we're looking forward to that. And then we've got the Clay Hole Concert Series, which will be part of the community market. And I mentioned community market, that being formerly known as the Farmers Market. And so this is our kind of partnered event with the Southwest Metro Chamber that puts on more of that. They're going to be put on more of that community market component. But you'll notice too that we're switching the day of the week we're doing that. That typically used to be on Wednesdays. We're moving it to Thursdays. And so we're hoping that makes a difference. I think up until this point, we've always held our summer concert series on Wednesdays, you know, and then the farmers market had come over to Fireman's Park, you know, ever since we've kind of moved on from City Square holding that event. Yet I would say thus far, we do not really see big attendance at our summer concert series, and I'm still a little baffled at trying to understand why that is, because you go to any other community and it's sort of a, you know, a band you've never heard of. It's just casual, but yet it draws in lots of people, just families wanting to picnic and hang out in the park and enjoy time together. But a lot of communities do that on Wednesday nights, including some of our neighboring cities, and Shakopee does put on their Rhythm on the Rails, which is, you know, draws in a lot of people on Wednesdays. So we thought maybe if we switch it to Thursday, that might attract more people to come out here within Chaska and not be as kind of competing with others.
Both Excelsior and Shakopee bring in big name bands
Yeah.
that are well known, and that's why they attract as many as they do. So
Yep.
I think their budget is much higher for music. So
Yeah, and we're working on that, so partnering with the chamber and, you know, trying to get more sponsors to bring in a little bit, you know, quality entertainment. And we're doing a little bit of that within this concert series this summer. There's a couple of dates, you know, where we've got like the Church of Cash, if you've heard of that. It's
absolutely
good Johnny Cash cover band.
It's usually huge.
And be on one of them. So I think, you know, trying some of those things out to see whether or not it makes a difference will be very telling to us going forward in kind of programming it. And then I think, you know, I really like the direction that the Southwest Chamber is going to with expanding it to be more than just a farmer's market and calling it a community market and bringing in businesses and, you know, just other types of vendors beyond just the traditional farmer's market. So, and then we also, through our recreation agreement with Carver, do program some concerts in Carver. We just have a few dates throughout July and the early part of August that occur on Wednesday nights at their gazebo park. The month of May here is National Bike Month. We've been doing a lot of things around biking. a little over a week ago, we had Bike to School Day, partnering with the local elementary schools, and had another awesome turnout for that event, which was great to see. Last night, we hosted the Chaska Bike Rodeo up at Veterans Park in collaboration with our police department. And talking with Martine with police, I think there were about 40 or 50 kids that attended that rodeo last night, which is awesome to hear. This coming Friday is Bike to Work Day. So we're promoting that within the city and encouraging employees to bike to work, and utilizing the community center as sort of the place to go when you arrive. And we're going to have some snacks, and if people need to take a shower or whatnot, those will be available. We'll see. The weather's not looking too ideal for Friday, but
What a great day to bike to work.
I know. Here, we've had awesome weather, and then, you know, that one isn't looking so good.
Well, maybe it'll feel refreshing.
But
We'll
maybe
get a
we'll,
shower
you
on the
know,
way to work,
maybe we can, maybe we can pivot that day and do bike at work, and encourage people to come to the fitness center and
Yeah, there you go.
go on a exercise bike over lunch or something. We also have the Carver Bike Rodeo. That's going to occur on Saturday from 9 to noon at the Carver Fire Station. Throughout the entire month, we've been promoting Bike Bingo. This is through the League of American Bicyclists. So there's a variety of things where you try to complete on the bingo card, and then you can email that in to one of our staff and be entered in for a prize drawing. And then lastly, we are offering a new Chaska Bike Club. So that is free. Registration was required, and we're actually filled with 25 people signed up. We do have some people on the waiting list, and we may consider expanding that. We just don't know, you know, at what frequency those 25 are going to participate every week. So we'll kind of feel that out as we go, but big thanks to Bob Lincoln at the library, one of our local bike advocates, and then also Lynn Gregory, who's another local bike enthusiast. He's a volunteer coach on the local mountain bike club team. They're going to be the primary leads of this bike club. So I feel really good about the safety and level of education they're going to provide for people. It's really intended to be a casual bike club. It's meant to kind of explore the trails around Chaska, generally 60 to 90 minutes, but you know, nobody would be left behind, but kind of more of that just encouragement to get people out on the bike and explore what we have to offer.
Marshall, I know one of these two is going to ask this question, so I'll ask it. Are e-bikes allowed in this bike club?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Rude.
Yep.
I'm still traumatized from that.
Yeah.
Sounds
They
great.
are, but you know, again,
Get
you know,
people out.
under the guidance, and I think it's an opportunity to educate people about how to use them in the right way. So. Won't touch on this a lot. Missy covered it in her presentation with the community center, but throughout this month, we've had the annual Run 100 going on. And then again, looking forward to the Memorial Day workout at Veterans Park on Saturday, May 24th. Family Fishing Academy in partnership with the local Chaska Area Fishing with Friends. So this is an organization that we partner with, and they really provide a lot of awesome opportunities for people to get out and try fishing. They actually also program trips utilizing a pontoon out on Lake Minnetonka out of Howard Bay. And so if you're not aware, the city actually, I think it was 10 years ago now, actually helped finance the original pontoon for them. And then they paid the city back within a 5-year period as they were able to obtain sponsors. And so we're working with them again because it's 10 years old now. needs a new motor and they want to do some just kind of renovation of their boat, they did find that refurbishing it was actually a better way to go than just completely buying a brand new one. So we are partnering again with them on those refurbishments. And then they take people out on trips, veterans to people with disabilities that live in assisted living homes to different youth groups to get out and experience, nature and water and fishing. So it's all volunteer led, and really appreciate kind of that type of programming that they're able to provide the community. So, but within that, they always kind of kick things off with this Family Fishing Academy over at Fireman's Park, which is going to be on Sunday, June 1st. So if you've never been, I encourage you to go and check that out. And then lastly, I would just finish here with the fact that our youth programming is just taken off. So Extreme Kids, which is our summer camp, we put it out on March 3rd for registration, and it filled within a matter of minutes. So we've got 90 kids signed up for the full 5-day week plan. In the years past, we've never filled the full 5-day week plan. So then we open it up to some options of like morning or afternoon. So it filled quick, which is great to see. Our Chaska Community Center after school care program that we do throughout the school year, we opened up registration on April 1st for next fall. That filled right away, so we got 30 kids signed up with almost 25 people on the waiting list. And then our Parents Night Out program that we offer at the community center, that occurs every second and fourth Friday of every month. As we open them up, they're filling up. So it's really cool to see, that we're meeting those needs, and we as a staff are really trying to figure out ways we can, expand some of those opportunities within the community center, just knowing we got people on waiting lists.
I mean, just one idea I had is Parents Night Out. If that were to turn into like one of those lock-ins we were talking earlier.
Parents Weekend out?
You won't get staff to staff that.
So ordered.
Parents come back and just hang out all night.
My kids go to every parents' night out. I love this idea.
You leave the kids at home and the parents go to the lock-in?
Yeah, you're talking.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
That's right. I was going with that.
All right, that's all I have for updates.
Thank you, Marshall.
Yep.
Okay, that moves us to 9A roundtable. Kevin, you want to start?
Just utilizing the fields for youth soccer, and started biking to work once the weather started getting nice enough, so that was nice. I did have to bike home in the rain a couple weeks ago. It's not that bad, so.
It's just like
Yeah.
a refreshing shower.
Exactly. I smelled nicer. It's great that Creek Road is like closed off and just a trail now. I like biking back there, so yeah, that's all.
I saw this on the morning news that Minneapolis Park and Recs now has a bus available that can pick up kids whose parents are working if their kids want to attend some sort of sporting activity or programming, but their parents can't because they're working. I just thought that was interesting, kind of neat. Probably expensive to fund, but I just, like, I know that's even a challenge for myself. Like, I can't do anything that starts earlier than, 4:30 maybe, 5:30 at best, but, just thought that was neat.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really cool. It's a very real thing, though. Like, I can't sign my kids up for even a fraction of the things I want to because of rides.
It's a real problem in the summer, because that's when, you need a lot of care, and there's cool clubs and different summer camps, and I'm like, yep, nope, can't do it.
Partnership with Southwest Prime.
That's it for me.
Marshall's a good bus driver.
Yeah. You could add that to your job duties.
Yeah. I rode my bike over to, what's the future of, Roundabout Row. It's kind of interesting going and seeing all that stuff, like what's causing all these traffic backups and the changing traffic patterns. And I rode my bike over there last night, actually, and I was like, it's really interesting. I just wanted to hang out there and just look at everything, because like there's a lot of earth moved around.
Yeah.
Like everything looks so different over there right now. I can't wait to see it get finished. Then I want to watch the next one get built. So, got a couple years of watching roundabouts get built. I had one question for Jill, but they were here and they needed to get going. But she had mentioned something about that guest services position being open for a long time. What's been the big challenge of being able to fill that? I don't know if you've heard anything, or maybe.
No challenge, just, we really like to take time, when there's a vacancy to really kind of think about whether or not there's an opportunity to adjust the role or the responsibility, and not just sort of react and rehire it right away. So, and we had the staff capability to, do that. And so took our time, shifted some of the responsibilities within it differently. So the previous job description included oversight of the drop-in daycare within that customer service function. We transitioned that away from that position, and now that actually reports into Sandy, who does all of our youth programming. So we kind of merged this youth programming together. To us, that made more sense, and then they're able to share resources. And then we added in concessions into this role, so that's something different. But they'll oversee not only the front desk operation at the community center, but then the concessions out at Fireman's Park. So it's kind of aligning more with like front-facing customer service, but thinking a little bit broader than just within the community center, and having staff sort of realize they're part of a bigger department and supporting other buildings. So it took us some time to make some of those changes, update the job description, and then, just the hiring process in general takes a while.
No, that makes sense.
Yep.
Appreciate the explanation.
Yeah.
Are you gonna do fireworks at, big fireworks display again this year? Because I think last year, what happened last year between 4th of July and Fire and Ice? Like, I can't remember what it was. Something got pushed off, and then there was some.
Yeah, it got rained out on 4th of July.
Okay.
Yep. But yeah, so we'll still plan to have them at Fire and Ice both nights this year.
That was awesome.
Yep. Although I saw on the news, there's quite the increase in price due to tariffs potentially on fireworks.
I hadn't noticed, I hadn't heard anything about tariffs on the news at all. Where are you getting that information from? I hadn't heard that at all in the last, 6 months. Just two quick things. One was that the Chaska Human Rights Commission is doing the Pride Picnic on June 21st, Saturday, 3 to 6 at McKnight Park. I will be there allegedly DJing, but I would highly recommend. I was at that 2 years ago. It's a great community building event. And then also, it was wonderful seeing the community center staff here tonight. And I couldn't help but notice what wonderful swag they have. That had the logo on it, all that stuff. Couldn't help but think that maybe a certain commission, volunteer commission in the community could maybe get their hands on some swag at some point that would rise to that level of reverence. That's all I got.
I've just been getting out and about and looking at stuff.
We biked to school to Clover Ridge about 3 days last week. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow. But it's been really nice having, I think, Canaan Creek Trail, the trail that goes by Sunset Park. Now that that's paved, it's infinitely easier. But also Bike to School Day always makes me rethink how did our elementary boundaries end up the way that they are, because there are kids that cannot participate due to distance, which is so interesting to me. But it is what it is. That's all I have.
Did your kids have fun biking?
They did. My daughter went down a 9-foot ravine on the first day and got scratched up. We were really lucky that she was okay, but she got right back on, and I was like, "You're going to school now," and she did. And then she did it again the next, not the falling, but she biked to school again next day.
Which happened first? Did you ask her if she was okay, or did you tell her that she was going to school no matter how she
I
felt?
dragged her out first, and she was crying, meaning she was breathing. She was
Good.
okay. Like, her
Good.
helmet was on. She was okay.
I have no doubt, I have no doubt.
Brought her dry shoes when I got home.
That's awesome.
We've got a cool trail system, though.
We really
It's great.
Could have been a car, you know, like we could be biking and crossing. I did hear of a kid that was biking to, a neighbor kid that was biking to Middle School West, and they got hit by someone turning right onto Engler at 41 and Engler. He was fine because his dad didn't even know apparently that he got hit by a car later, but he still got hit. People are, I think about calling the police to have them like set up when Middle School West comes out and to just nail everybody that takes that right-hand turn without even looking. But with all of these roundabouts, we will have a trail right there and the kids will be safe. But anyway, I didn't mean to talk for that long, but I'm done.
I don't think there's a time limit of any kind.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's late.
It's just past our bedtime. I was like, I've been
It's
doing
late. Kids
stuff,
are getting
but-
hit by cars. I don't know.
It's late. I'll be quiet.
No.
It's fine.
Sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna say, get out into a park for no reason other than to get out into a park for the million people that are watching right now. That brings us to, Mary, do you have anything?
Thank you for all attending this evening. Appreciate that. You're very important.
I'm gonna assume that somewhere in the notes next month, you'll be noting that I was late today?
Absolutely.
Okay. I can always count on you, Mary, watching that clock.
No, I will not.
Don't worry, you're not alone in that one.
Okay, that brings us to
That was like
item
3 years ago,
10,
that hurt my feelings.
adjourn. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I motion to adjourn the meeting tonight.
Hi.
Second.
Second, Hill. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.